Well, well, well.
We're talking Tuesday.
If it ain't my old arch nemesis,
Dante Hicks.
Dante's Inferno.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I actually have something to say about Dante's Inferno. What a weird,
Oh Jesus! Okay.
not where I thought this episode was going to start. We're supposed to be talking about maybe some kind of movie. I don't know. There's some things.
I'm so curious about this one because I genuinely feel like you probably did not like it, and I would not blame you for it. But I don't know.
Well, we're unfortunately going to have to bury the lead for the time being because
Bring a knife in my chest.
we both have some things to talk about first. You know, it's
Yeah,
it's just how we do things around here.
Talk Tuesday. That's what we do.
It is. We gotta catch up. We had weeks. We had a whole week apart. My heart grew fonder.
Oh, you.
No. I know we have like an agenda today. There is a particular piece of media that we may end up talking about. But our usual stuff first. I will say it is, well, first of all, how are you? How are you this Tuesday?
Living better than last week, as we were talking
Yep.
off mic. You know, last week we vented for like 40 minutes off mic. This time I was just running late, so and so yeah, it ended up. But yeah, sorry, I'm losing the thread already. Overall, pretty good. Can't complain. Life is life, and stressed about stuff and the normal stuff, but like, yeah. How about yourself though?
Excellently vague. I am also living and going through some
Well,
things.
I mean, being straight up honest, I'm stressed about money, but no one wants to hear people bitch about money. Online.
Yeah.
Everyone's hurting for money, you know.
I-
So like,
I was mostly
this is not an woe is me.
No, and I wasn't trying to push you to share things that you don't want to share. I was mostly going for a stretch of a K2SO
Money,
reference.
God damn it, I'm sorry.
I was going for the K2SO from Rogue One when he goes, I find that answer vague and unconvincing. Show feet. I got $2. All right, you ready? Too bad. That's not enough to see my grippers on stream. Which it would be very easy for me to do.
Show you
because
hey, he didn't say what kind of feet.
Ooh.
And I got the feet of my Wii fitness board right here.
Nice. That counts, right? Jimmy,
Got a
can you
foot
get off to
of
that?
a Wii fitness board.
Do you like that?
What's that hole doing? What's that dot doing there for you?
That hole's about to get a little bit bigger, if you know what I mean. Sweet, I came. Damn.
Just take out that pad. You know, I'm sure there's something in. You know, put a little Vaseline.
Vaseline? What is this, the 1960s?
We gotta go to the speakeasy.
We use
That's 20s reference.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Just skipping decades.
Like Vaseline, this is 2025. We use olive oil. Or
Olive oil.
no, that would be, I don't know if that would be better or worse, honestly. Coincidentally, y'all started talking about Dante, and I just met a Dante in Date Everything. Ooh,
Well,
okay.
how about that?
Also, welcome, Chris. I'm so curious. Okay, so the names of the characters in Date Everything are pretty on point and pretty, I should say, on the nose. So I'm curious. I wonder if we can guess what object this character named Dante is.
I don't fucking know.
What if you could?
It
Do you
might
know
be a
about?
scythe
Do you
or
know about
something
Date Everything?
hell-related. I mean, it's a game where you can date everything.
Yeah. So like all the like random objects in your house are like anthropomorphic hotties that you can date. So Dante, I don't know. Yeah, it gives me a kind
I'll
of.
be honest, I don't even feel like speculating. You can speculate, but I got nothing.
Okay. Ooh. I don't know if I should call you Keaton or Llama when you're in this persona. I'll just go with Llama. Llama says, Dante's Inferno, fireplace, and it sounds like he was on the money.
Money, money, money.
Why don't you tell him what he's won,
Money.
Josh?
He's won a lifetime supply of firewood
Very
made
nice.
out of the finest bark of burned homes.
Wow, that got dark. Oh, wow, that got really dark.
Literally, because it's dark wood. It's burned.
I have a prompt that I was gonna keep for later, but talking about houses burning down. Let's go there first, real quick. Also, did Llama actually get it, Chris? Is Dante the fireplace? Do you date the fireplace? That's
L.A. fire
he's
scraps.
so funny.
That.
Oh, damn! Damn!
You just went in a different direction.
So, yeah. So, here's a quick prompt. I have I have two answers to this. One that this reminded me of, and I'm curious if you have anything off the top of your head. If not, it's okay, and I can just say mine. What is the most embarrassing thing you've ever said out loud that still haunts you, that you're comfortable with sharing to the internet?
Nothing I'm comfortable with.
Oh, wow.
The only time when I get embarrassed, it's like I get really, really embarrassed. This one. Okay, here's a fun. This actually no, there is one I'm comfortable with saying. It was years ago. I remember. It was like when I was still going to church, and my friend Michelle was talking about saying it was like it was menstrual cramps at the time. She was saying her cramps were really bad. And in my mind, I thought because I knew she like worked out a lot and exercised, I thought she meant like ankle cramps or not ankles, sorry, like calves or legs or something like that. And I also my legs were cramping up from like playing hockey or like the day before or something like that.
Yeah.
And so then I go, oh yeah, me too. And she just looks at me.
Oh
like,
my god.
Oh, you weren't talking about those cramps. You're talking about the other kind of cramps. I was talking about my legs.
I am also in pain, so
I know what it feels like.
yeah.
But no, that's probably that's it's a really tame story. I know every other time it's like just stuff I like. It's not. I don't mind being embarrassed by saying something stupid, right?
Yeah.
If I say something stupid and it makes someone feel bad, that's when it crosses beyond embarrassment and there's like genuine remorse.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times like that I'm thinking of right now are things where it's like it hurts someone's feelings even though it didn't intend to. And those I don't feel comfortable sharing just because it hurts someone's feelings at the time. And it's
well,
I don't want to not that they would watch this or listen to this or anything like that. I just don't want to do that again.
Well, don't worry. I have a couple I can do it for you. I actually also just thought of a third one while you were saying that, so I'll start with this one. It is mean. Also, great to hear. Llama got it right. Related. Gabs was having. I read that as contradictions. Gabs was having contractions, and I could see the contractions on the monitor. I saw a relatively small one and said, "Oh, that one wasn't that bad." Oh shit! She glared at me with murderous rage. Yeah, founded, worth it. The glare was worth it, as in deserved. Yeah, oof. Yeah, this isn't so bad at all. This childbirth thing ain't so hard. I don't know what all these females get up in there
talking about, honey.
Get their panties in a twist all about it. It's not even that big of a deal.
I mean, I
feel fine.
I mean, I had to do all the thrusting.
Yeah, oh my god. Well, hey, my part's over.
So fucked up.
I know. So I have two mean ones, two unintentionally mean ones, and then the one involves something that we just talked about. So when I was in high school, I said, the thing. This was like around the time when the thing to do was just, wow, that class was really stupid. You're really stupid, or like,
yeah,
your shirt's dumb. You're dumb, and so it just became a thing. Like, I even remember in it's not dodgeball. It's the bench warmers, where David Spade is like swinging his.
Years since I've seen it.
Oh, same. He's swinging his baseball bat like vertically, and somebody's like, "Stop doing it like that! It's not a sword." And he's like, "You're not a sword." And it's like, haha, yeah, okay, it's funny. Take the Tylenol away. They're fine. Yeah, I don't know. We all took a lot of Tylenol growing up. We may have the tism. So I was in class with this girl, and like, she was okay looking. Like, she wasn't winning any beauty pageants, but she wasn't terrible looking. However, we were looking in our textbook, and there was this kid in our class whose last name was McClure. And so we just called him McClure because his first name was the same name as another kid, so that's how we differentiated them. So I pointed out to this girl in my class, and I was like, "Oh, there was a picture of a kid in one of our textbooks." And I was like, "Doesn't this kid look like McClure?" And she was like, "Nah, it's too ugly for McClure." And I was like, "You're too ugly for McClure." And I was like, "Ooh."
Oh, no.
Ooh. And I immediately just unhinged my mouth like a jaw and swallowed the book whole, and then my foot. And then I just like Ouroboros consumed myself down to a single atom and disappeared. Or at least that's what I wanted to do.
I've done something similar. It's eerie. I've done something similar to that. I won't say what, but I will say, before my wife and I were married, when we were still dating, I did one of those jokes, and let me tell you, it was bad. It was one of those ones, it's that gut reaction. You're not even thinking. You're just like thinking about the joke. Same thing. I'm not gonna. I can tell you off mic what I said. I don't feel comfortable saying it.
It's one of those you're trying to catch the words as they're coming out of your mouth, and you're like, no. Now it's out there, and it's okay. Well, I guess I'll just go jump off a cliff. But the other one was, I was at a convention, and I was, I don't know, in my early 20s, and I thought it was the peak of comedy, the funniest thing I could possibly do, because it's so LOL XDDD random. I dressed as Waldo, like Where's Waldo? And I did have a lot of fun, admittedly, photobombing people that were getting professional photos of their cosplays done, like from way away, because you can see the whole setup from like across the con. You see the lights and the cameras and the action, and I would just like book it and just like do the little like waving pose. And I hope that some photographer was going through their photos, like editing that, and all of a sudden there's a Waldo all the way in the back. I hope that was funny.
That's really good.
However, you know how Waldo's whole thing is, he tends to be in places that are red and white to blend in, to hide. Candy cane fields, peppermint sticks, and frickin', I don't know, fire trucks. So I was walking past this girl at the con, and again, like I just said it. I was trying to be like, haha, kooky, interacting with people, because everybody was like, I found you, haha. And I would like pretend to go hide somewhere when I got noticed. And I remember I was in the dealer's room, and there was this girl next to me, and I walked past her. Somebody was like, oh, I found you. And I like went to go hide behind her, because she had a red and white, like Lolita kind of getup. The cord was like on point. It was red and white, and I was like, oh man, I could definitely hide behind you. And she looked at me so sad, and I think it was because she thought I meant that because she was big, because she had a bigger body. And I immediately, the whitest white on her pristine red and white cord looked dark compared to how white I turned. And then how red I turned. Like I felt so bad, and I couldn't even like be like I just kept walking.
I meant your outfit. You're wearing the same colors as me.
Yeah.
Then if you do that, then are you calling attention to?
Yes.
Like,
and I panicked.
What if she didn't think that at all, and now all of a sudden, like, oh, do you think I'm like you're in a lose-lose situation in that moment?
It was, and I think I was done with Waldo for the day. Wait, that's actually also reminded me of one I just did at work. we have like
With a cancer patient.
no, God. Thankfully, it was only a coworker, and not a cancer patient. We have like spirit days.
Cancer merchant.
Yeah, we have like spirit days where like it'll be like wear pink for breast cancer awareness, or teal for whatever teal is. And so the color of the day. Oh, and so we don't have to wear like dress clothes on that day. We can just wear, like, on a teal day, I could wear this shirt because there's teal on it. So we had a couple of us, go around and try to like, oh, hey, oh, nice teal. Oh, you got, okay, yeah. And so I was walking past this girl. Oh my God, I have a lot more than I could say, but I'm not going to on the internet. But she had like a peach shirt on because it was peach day. And so I like went past her and I was like, nice peach shirt. And I just like ran. I was like, oh my fucking God. And I was like, so I went up, I was going up to the cafe. I got my drink. I came back and I was like, I didn't mean anything weird about that. I just meant your shirt. And she was like, it's okay. It's fine. I was like, I'm going to go kill myself now. I'll be right back. But not actually. Goodbye forever. Bra is right. That is a certified bra moment, Gilmer. I was like, God damn it. Nice peach shirt. Oh, God damn it.
Oh man.
Now the last one that is it's not mean or inappropriate. I mean, it is inappropriate, but not that kind of inappropriate. So, I won't give you the whole backstory, but somebody I met recently, a newer friend, open mouth insert foot. That's pretty much what I did. I was saying earlier, I like ate my entire own body like the Ouroboros. So a friend told me recently that a couple years ago, and a friend who I had just met, told me that a couple years ago, his apartment burned down and he like lost everything. And I was like, Jesus, like that's so. And we got to talking about that and stuff, and then it came back to
that's why the fire thing reminded you.
This is why how this all got the fire thing came up. This is what I thought of, and I was like, oh my God, that's so horrible. Like, he's like, but I lost everything I owned, but like I was okay. My cat was okay. And I was like, that's good. And we get to talking about, because he's a nerd, we talk about like game collections and other things that we've kind of amassed over the years. And I was like, I guess I kind of collect. Like I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't sell any games anymore because like my collection is kind of part of my, I'm not the guy who's trying to be like, I got to get every game on the N64 or whatever. But I'm like, I'd say that's probably one of the things that I would be most upset to lose, or some of the expensive, like my TV's expensive, but like nothing I could take, if I needed to. And I was like, oh, you know what? And I had forgotten about the fire conversation, obviously, even though it had only been like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, you know what my thing is? That I would, I was like, my thing to grab like in the event of a fire is, and I was like, oh, wait. I'm sorry. He was like, it's fine. I was like, if my house was burning down, I would probably grab, and I like had completely forgotten that he literally just told me that his whole house burned down. I was like, God damn it.
At least you didn't completely forget. You remembered mid-moment, which I think is better than
I guess
remembering it all.
That's very kind of you. I'll take that. But my answer was I have a little binder full of like a Pokemon card binder, but of every single movie stub that I've seen since 1999. I've kept every movie I've ever seen for 26 years now. Good Lord.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If only you would have seen, maybe you would have seen Clerks in theaters at some point.
Well, that came out in, if I believe, 1994. So before I started.
Yes, so we would have been 5.
I was going to say, yeah. To bookend this topic, OMG, so Dante and Date Everything is voiced by Dante Bosco. That's so funny. Oh my God. So it's literally just Jesus. What the hell is his character's name in Avatar? Zuko. God.
Zuko.
I was like, why did I forget his most famous character?
Rufio.
So he's literally. I went to Rufio first, even though I have only seen that movie somewhat recently. So Dante is Dante. That's so funny. Yeah, Fire Guy is voiced by Zuko. A couple more are also named that way. That's great. I do want to play that. It does seem fun. Anyway, so we can talk about things that we have experienced. I only have a few. Well, I have a good bit, but nothing that I really need to like delve into. Little bit of shop talking first. I gotta say, it is almost the end of September. So, if you want to be a good little sub, for me, no, I always go there, and I shouldn't.
Forgot we went there last time. I forgot we that last time.
That's for only one person. And you want to not deal with some ads.
Me.
They are, yep, and he's right over here. I talk to him every week. If you find the ads as annoying as I do, you can sub, and if you want to support a very small competitor, I'm not really competing, a small content creator / streamer.
There you go.
Hey, well, look at that. Physics Dev Quest. Thank you for that, Chris. I appreciate you. 7 out of 10. So, there are only 3 slots left to get your little, as you can see, the little first logo next to Gilmer's name. And next time Physics Dev Quest comments, you'll see probably next to his name. You can get a first little badge to show that you were here before anyone else, and you can be super hipstery about it. Like, just like be so annoying about it. Be like, yo, yeah, well, were you one of the first 10? Like, you know, when I blow up and become, you know, super famous, you know, by next week. There it is. What is that little, little ghosty emoji. Oh, I'm going to have some custom emotes coming soon. I teased it a little bit ago.
I need to get new custom emotes because the person who did my current emotes, I don't want their emotes anymore.
Right. I wonder who that could have been.
Who could it be?
I have now in my possession.
Be the thumbnail, just me going like,
as I'm pinky up drinking from the. I now have in my possession, digitally anyway, the artwork for a mascot for the experience point.
oh,
yes, I worked with an artist who was very cool. I'm not going to say much about it because I said way too much about it last time, and I'm going to start teasing some cool stuff. So if you're here in this moment, you get a little bit of the inside scoop. A lot of it, the elements of it, you can see right now. I've said too much. Anyway, I'm going to use that for the emotes. Anyway, sorry to shill out for a second there. Thanks, Chris, seriously, for the support. And now you don't have to deal with the ads. Things that I have experienced. Saw a couple movies. I think we talked about last week how Regal is doing that thing where they're showing like a classic a month, or not, or a day this month, every day. And so far I don't think I had seen any last time that we talked.
No, you didn't see any last time.
Okay, I had plans to see a bunch of them, but a bunch of shit happened. Including my girlfriend trying to knock herself out on the counter, as we talked about last time. God, that was terrifying.
Yep.
But I did end up seeing a movie that I should have seen a long ass time ago, and that was Pan's Labyrinth. I had never.
Oh yes, you did talk about wanting to see this.
Yeah, I had never seen that. I mean, it's like Guillermo del Toro, like cool monster designs, like dark fantasy, like very much up my alley. Jimmy says it's a masterpiece.
I saw it years ago, and I don't think I was old enough to really appreciate it, so I'm going to have to rewatch it.
It's very interesting now. Let me... I'm gonna
You can spoil stuff. I don't care.
No. It's... I'm gonna put a pin in this. I'm gonna cut and paste this down into right before our main topic, because believe it or not, there is something that I do want to talk about that does pertain to both. So watch that, cut that, paste that at the end. Didn't expect the Mitch McConnell cameo, but it worked. Yes. So I was texting my friend whose house burned down that I was, because he was like, I want to watch more movies, but like I don't like going alone. I was like, I go to movies alone all the time. I just went to see Pan's Labyrinth, and he's like, oh, is that the one with the weird creepy eyeball guy? And I was like, yeah, the Mitch McConnell alien. Yeah. It is astounding how much he looks like. But talk about that a little bit later. One of the things I finished that I started last week, Police and I finished the first season of Reboot, is Parallax in the chat.
I don't see him, but you never know.
That may summon him. We just have to go reboot Beast Wars, reboot Beast Wars. I'm summoning myself. But really good first season. Just like the first season of Beast Wars, they're trying to get their footing. Some of it's a little bit awkward. It's a literal pioneer of a show. They're doing the very first fully CGI television show ever, and it shows, and that's fine. I don't have much else to say besides that I haven't already said. I don't know. Did I talk about the where the one little kid character wants to be smarter and faster than everyone? Did I talk about that last time?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Because Reboot was such like a flash in the pan for me, so it's hard to remember anything from it.
That's fair.
And stuff that I know you talked a little bit about it, but I can't remember.
Okay. Alphanumeric. Oh, that's awesome. Gabby's that was her favorite show. That's so adjacent to my favorite show, which was Beast Wars, and that's still my favorite piece of any media. But so a standout episode from the first season of Reboot is
Mortal Kombat.
The TV show?
No,
piece of media.
Beast Wars is your favorite piece of any media.
Yeah.
More than Mortal Kombat?
I thought, because I said show, because there are two very bad Mortal Kombat shows that I still love. Yeah, I would say even more than like Oddworld, which is my favorite video game.
Damn.
Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, my favorite video game, probably like Beast Wars more. Princess Mononoke, my favorite movie, probably like Beast Wars more, honestly.
I'd rather watch Beast Wars than Princess Mononoke.
I cannot believe this heel turn that you've taken more and more every episode. It hurts me so much.
No. As I said before, I don't hate Princess Mononoke. It's just too long. It's like, you ever have a movie where like you like it well enough, but every time you look at the runtime, you're like, oh, this is going to be like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's kind of like that, where it's like I like it, but it's not. I don't like it enough to sit through how long it is. I think that's really kind of where it boils down. Because I did enjoy it when I saw it. But yeah, anyway, we're not here to talk about Mononoke. We'll have to. You know what? Maybe it might be fun to do an experience share on Mononoke and have me rewatch it for the first time in like over a decade. We'll see what happens.
Okay. I did do a deep dive with Polisa not too long ago, but I'm always down to do another because it is my favorite movie.
Well, let's put a pin in that for like a year or so, right?
Okay.
Because that way it doesn't. I'm not heartbroken over not watching it.
Yeah. So
actually, a little bit. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
No, it's okay. A standout episode that I told you last time how there was like the way that they do the dialogue is very corny but very on brand. Like they'll be like instead of being like it's over, they'll be like end of program, delete file, like stuff like just stupid corny stuff like that. Like wow, that mega bites. Or like it's just chock full of stuff like that. But what they do with the writing and the content, like a standout episode is called. There's one called Enzo the Smart, and Enzo is this little piece of shit kid that's super annoying, and he's the one that's gonna have the most character growth. I'm sure. I hope. Most of the conflict surrounds him doing something stupid or wanting to be cool, like his older sister Dot, who is way too fine for a CGI television show, by the way. And his like, her friend, air quotes, Bob, who's the main character, voiced by Ian James Corlett. And so he's like, I want to be cool and smart like them. So he goes into like this forbidden area of the computer of mainframe, which is like the innards of the computer. It's like a city. Dot awakened many of you are, whew, got that right. She's so thick. My God, Hexadecimal awakened the rest. Every time Hexadecimal's on screen, I'm like, still would. For context, Hexadecimal is like one of the, like probably the secondary antagonist, and she's terrifying. But she's kind of bad though. Anyway, so Enzo goes to like the main frame of the computer, and he's like, I want to be smarter than anyone else. And they're like, okay, but this is going to have consequences. And he's like, I don't care. I'm a kid. And so he is like, this big light happens and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, well, I don't feel any different. And then he goes outside and everything else in the world, all the people are like really bad graphics, like low poly, janky, jaggy graphics. And they're all super dumb.
So he stayed the same. Everyone else got dumber.
Yes.
More dumb.
Because if you think about it, they're in a computer. So that memory has to come from somewhere. So the GPU memory and the CPU memory that made him faster, they took from everything else in the world. And so then everything else is like janky, like bad animations.
Really
yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And this is exactly how it would be because I was starting
really clever.
Yeah. I was like, I was having flashbacks of trying to play games that my Windows 95 computer wasn't good enough to play, which is saying something. I couldn't even run Lego Island without like really messing with some stuff. And I was like, this is so genius. And it's just chock full of stuff like that. Like some of the best writing I've seen in a really long time. Just really clever, really interesting themes, and just how they tie everything back to specifically 90s era computer slang. Like it's so cool. It's only aged better. I would say it's actually aged better than Beast Wars because Beast Wars is trying to do something beyond its means, which was to have CGI of 1996 or 7 look like real animals. In this, it's like they're all supposed to be computer programs. They're all supposed to be little bits and bytes, and
it's using they're using the limitations as a creative choice as opposed to trying to push too far against them. I gotcha.
Yeah, and so I loved it. It was very cool. I'm excited to start the second of I think fourth season of varying lengths. But highly recommend it.
For sticking with this, because you've said you've started it for a few times, and now you're going through with it. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I feel like such a fake mainframe fan because obviously Beast Wars is my favorite thing ever. Right before that, they made Reboot, and when I was a kid and I would see Reboot, I would be like, "This is dumb. I don't like this. I'm waiting for Beast Wars to come on." And it was the same. I didn't realize it was the same studio. And then I tried to watch it again, like maybe in my late teens, early 20s, and I just was like, okay, this is pretty good. But I only watched like a couple episodes. And watching it again now,
I also think people's opinions on like your taste in media in your late teens, early 20s is not good.
Totally,
like just in general.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, it's ugly, and I'm like, it looks the same as Beast Wars, like, and you can get past that. But yeah, watching it this time, it did not feel like work to finish it. I mean, and Polisa loved it. She like asked me multiple times to watch it. Like for a while I was like, I really just want to watch Reboot. Like with heaviness happening in the world, like a lot of what I wanted was just something fun and nostalgic. And then that landed for her too. And many a night we were like, should we watch this action anime that we're currently watching, or like, do we just want to have some nostalgic fun? And a lot of the times the answer was nostalgic fun. So I highly recommend it, especially right now. If you need some no stakes, but still excellent writing, and just a fun, good time, you should watch Beast Wars. Or Reboot, I guess. No. The there's a couple more things that I watched that I don't have to talk about much more. We thought we would try and cool it down with Fruits Basket because we heard it was a good romance. I mean, it is. I can't say that. I haven't even seen it, but I do know that it goes some places. It goes some places. I watched two emotional damage. Yeah,
Emotional damage.
I have heard. Police has showed me a couple of things. There's a there's a movie that I thought this was going to be a parody movie, but it's not. It's called Napoli Ever After, and it sounds like what the hell is this Tyler Perry nonsense? But it was actually like a really cool,
It sounds like a Mamma Mia ripoff.
kind of, but like it sounds like is this?
Napoli? Isn't that in Italy?
Oh no, not like Napoli, like Italy, like nappy hair, like Napoli.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like it sounds like the black version of Mamma Mia, and I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like a cheesy romance, and it is, but it's mostly about it's written from a book, and it's mostly about like this woman, obviously a black woman, like falling in love with like her natural hair, because she's lived her whole life based on Eurocentric beauty standards and having to have perfectly straight hair all the time, and everything that comes with that. And then something happens, and then she ends up having to like cut all her hair off, like completely, like to bald. And just seeing how people treat her differently, and then when it starts to grow back and it's her natural curls and not straight hair, how people react differently. It's really like a really interesting microcosm of like the black experience. And do I think most white people would get a lot out of it? Maybe. I felt like I could relate to my girlfriend more and know her better. And so that was like a nice bonding experience for us. And it's a really wholesome movie. Like I did end up crying from it because it's such a good, at its core, it's a message of self-love and having, and not taking less than what you deserve. And I liked it a lot. On the other side of that,
there it is.
oh,
That just reminded me. There is a book. I didn't get it for Felicity. I didn't get it for my daughter. But I want to, even though it wouldn't really. It's called My Hair. It's a kid's book called My Hair Is a Garden, and it's about a black girl learning to love her hair.
Yeah.
And I understand that would not necessarily speak to Felicity, but obviously, like it's like in terms of that specific element.
Sure.
But
the message
I still want her to read it. The cultural shows. There's also a really cute kids book called Julian is a Mermaid, and it's about a little black boy who sees mermaid or drag queens and thinks they're beautiful mermaids.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Aw.
It's really cute.
My kiddo has curly hair, and I'm determined for her to enjoy her hair. I know. That's that Greekness. Yeah.
Yeah, Julian is a mermaid, and the end of the book is really cute because it's about Julian. Yeah.
Oh, Chris
reads. It's a great book.
That. Cool.
It's the artwork in it is very like it's really cool looking. Like it's very. I don't know how to describe it. It's great. But so that was given to us for Felicity, and we've read it a few times. There's not a lot of words in it. It's mostly pictures, but it's still really cool. And Julian and I think it's his abuela, she sees him trying to mimic being a mermaid, and then she ends up helping him out. Like, spoiler for me, it's a really cute
I love that
story. So yeah, Julian is a mermaid, really cute.
You guys are raising your kids right.
Trying.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy. It's an amazing trans story. Oh.
Yeah,
well,
it's really cute. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Finish what you were saying. The whole My Hair Is a Garden. about the hair thing reminded me of that kid's book, My Hair is a Garden, which I love that idea of it. Just like, I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
really cool. So I really want. I saw it at our local library. I should
Mm.
probably pick up a copy, like borrow it soon.
Yeah, there's one. I think it's just called Hair Love. It was a children's book, but they also made it into a short, an animated short, and oh my god, I cried my eyes out. It's about a little girl trying to learn how to style her natural hair. Um, with her dad, like, and he's trying to learn how to do it, and he can't because he doesn't normally do it. And it's like you see that you're like, oh my god, did the mom die or something? Like, where's the mom? Because you see pictures of her around and stuff, and then they go to like the hospital, and she's there, and she has cancer, and so she has no hair now, and so she does all these like does her hair in all these like fancy ways just to like, you know, still get to share that
Oh,
experience. Like,
that ties in with something I'm going to be talking about later. We talked a bit about it off mic.
oh shit. Yeah. Oh god. Now I know the context of what you were telling me.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sad now.
yeah.
Well, very wholesome. And then another, she was like, I've got another like black ass movie to show you. And she was like, did you ever see Tales from the Hood? And I was like, I don't think so. I think I've heard of it. It's like the Tales of the Crypt. It's the Black Tales from the Crypt. And she was like, oh yeah. And we watched it. And I was expecting Tales from the Crypt, you know, like the corniest, stupidest shit.
It sounds like it's good comedy.
You know, it's not. Like, I thought it was too, because Tales from the Crypt always had kind of a goofy edge to it.
Like a cheap element to it.
Cheesy, yeah, yeah. And this was more or less pretty much straight horror, but still from like early 90s. It was like came out in like 95 or something. And so some of it was like genuinely scary. Some of it was still kind of goofy just because of the effects and stuff, but we talked a lot about, so it's a Spike Lee joint, and we talked a lot about this
As you
afterwards
do.
because I was like, it feels like it's almost two different movies depending on not just if you're black or if you're white, but like if you want to see the underlying messages and themes of, because there's a lot of blatantly racist stuff that's like, the first one is like, oh, three white cops kill this black guy, and then the spirit of the black guy goes and visits this other black guy and tells him to like go kill the cops, and it's like, oh, revenge story, yeah, the evil spirit gets revenge. And it's like, yeah, that's just what's at the surface, but there's really like deep messages underneath of like, there was a black cop there who didn't do anything. And it's like, how deep do you want to go with the themes and the messaging? And the black cop also ends up getting punished too for his inaction, even though he was the one who, like, the spirit helps get the revenge in the first place. It's wild. And then there's like, you know, ones on gang violence and domestic abuse and stuff, and at their surface are very much cut and dry. Someone who doesn't think twice about racism and is super ignorant will watch it and be like, oh yeah, I get what they're saying. But if you really think about it, like, there are so many more layers to it, more than I was expecting from a movie that's a parody of Tales from the Crypt, which itself is kind of a parody of like, you know, old B horror movies and Twilight Zone.
It sounds more like a parody. It's taking the Tales from the Crypt moniker, but doing a Twilight Zone type of thing with it, without the sci-fi though. Like, because Twilight Zone had a lot of like deep morals and themes and shit like that.
Yeah. For a fun parody of hood movies, don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Not the greatest on social commentary, but a great parody. Okay, I'll look into that one.
I've heard of that movie. Haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Nah, I've never heard of it. But yeah, it was good. I pointed out why there was only like one female character in the movie, and Policeman was like, I'm glad you caught that because Spike Lee is a raging misogynist. And I was like, God damn it.
Oh, is he?
Apparently, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Not many ladies in that movie, and even the one that was it's kind of not a great not the best portrayal, I'll say, but still had a pretty good time watching it. It was it sparked some really interesting conversations.
Nice.
Now, the last thing that I experienced, if you have not seen, I can finally talk about. I got to be in a One Piece commercial!
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
You didn't even tell me about it until I saw you post it on Facebook.
I could only hint about it. I literally would be in legal trouble. Like, I had to sign an NDA. Like, it was that serious. That's why I think I told you. I remember saying that we were in an ad for something that Police and I were both really into. So that was that. We got to be in a commercial for the new mobile game, One Piece Bounty Rush, which you can download now. No, they didn't. I'm not shilling it. We were there all day. We shot all day, and we were in it for like
that little tiny second,
1
right?
second. It was like a second and a half, 2 seconds tops, and which sucks because she was supposed to actually be one of the principal actors. I was just background. She was, so there's like a bunch of shots of like 3 people next to each other playing on their phones, like a bunch of close-ups of them, and she was supposed to be one of them, and was one of them, and it was shot. It was just cut. So we were a little bit disappointed at that, but I was like, we shot for like 10 hours, and it was like for a 30-second commercial. They were thorough. Like, it was wild. But yeah, we went to New York. Like, actual people, like team members from Bandai Namco Japan were there on set. And so Police and I got to speak Japanese with them and watch their faces be like, what the hell are these gaijins saying? I guess we would be gaijins there. Hokujin saying to me right now in my language.
Did they seem to like that you attempted to?
Yeah, they loved it. Even though mine's still pretty basic. Police can go off and just like have full on conversations, and I can like talk my way through small talk, but they were like, why are you learning? The question that they all asked was, why are you learning Japanese? Like, they were just so dumbfounded. They were like, why would you do this? And we told them how we want to live there temporarily and or permanently, if that ends up being what we do. And just how we've always wanted to go, and everything every weeb says about, like the culture and the media, and so
free healthcare.
Yeah. Well, yeah, about the country itself, the healthcare, the maybe not having danger of being killed by a gun, or running into much crime at all, food that's not poison, I could go on. Not existing in a fucking fascist police state. But yeah, they were very supportive, and were just like, yeah, ganbatte, like, do your best. It was really cool. We got to sit and chat with them for a while, and the other actors who were there, and it was cool. I've been sitting on it, biting my tongue, waiting to be able to talk about it, and oh my god. If you want to see it, you can see it on the Experience Point Instagram at TheExpPoint. You'll see my little clip of my girlfriend and I, and then but in the comments, I think I posted the full one. If not, it's on the Bandai Namco YouTube. But it was a ton of fun, and the whole thing is like, it's a sort of Pokemon Go style thing where it's like, oh, One Piece characters in real life, and so you see like Luffy flying around New York, and I was like, wait, we've existed in the same time space as Luffy, which means nothing. Like, I don't think anyone could argue that my girlfriend and I are now canonically part of the One Piece universe. I think is the only
One Piece universe.
Yeah, it's the only logical conclusion. So, but that was a ton of fun. I don't know. I'm hoping that this really opens up doors, especially for Police. We made some good connections of people working in Japan and over here. I'm hoping that somebody can see her in a international trailer of some kind for a Japanese thing, and other Japanese companies can hire her to do more things. Because that's the biggest issue we're running into in terms of getting there is we need to be hired. We need that visa sponsorship. So if you work in Japan and you want to hire me and my girlfriend, no. But seriously. Anyway, those were the things that I have experienced, except for one last thing that I put a pin in. But that's going to relate to our main topic. So if there are things that you would like to share, please do.
Main topic. We're like an hour in now.
I know.
Okay. Is it? Am I up?
You're on. You're live.
All right.
What have you
I'm live.
experienced this week?
Not a whole lot in terms of like the amount of stuff. Like it's still reading my book, getting farther. I'm over a page, like a quarter of the way through the book now, or almost half.
Of the second
already.
one?
Of the second one, yep.
Nice.
So that's been cool.
Jimmy says, wrap it up, Josh. Jeez. I know, you just talked for entirely too long.
Here's more feet for you. You can come again, and then you'll be good for the next hour.
Yeah, he just woke up from his cum coma and was like, what did I miss? Oh my god, Josh talks too long. Knocked out again.
But so there was that. I beat Grease, and I did an episode on it.
Nice.
That's coming out actually tomorrow on Patreon, for everyone else on Sunday. The big thing that kind of happened this week was that for anyone who doesn't know, and Andrew, I know you don't, but I don't know if anyone out there is watched any of their stuff. There's a YouTube channel called The Game Chasers. Have you ever heard of The Game Chasers, Andrew?
Not until I think I saw what you're about to say. I didn't know them prior.
Yeah. So remember the show on a History Channel, American Pickers?
Yeah, were they the ones who would go and get
the two dudes who
they would buy up like
drive around
storage?
Yep, drive around to different people's places, storage room, or storage lockers or whatever, people's houses, yard sales, any of the stuff, and then they would trash pick like Americana and stuff like that, and then they would resell it. Game Chasers was like that, but for retro video games. And it was the first of its kind. It first came out in like 2011. Like it's an older.
Oh wow!
It's an OG like retro gaming YouTuber. Like as close to OG. OG would be like 2007 through 9 ish.
Yeah.
But like they're still really early on. It was run by these two guys named Billy and Jay. Really funny. Like I'm talking like they're really funny. Very charismatic. Lots of dick and fart jokes, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's very crude, like bluish type of humor. But like they were really influential to the retro gaming scene, like especially Billy. He kind of spearheaded it. Billy sadly passed away on Thursday last week.
Yeah. Due
to a month-long struggle with cancer, with a brain tumor.
A month long, so
they
didn't know then.
In and out.
Oh man.
No. In fact, let me actually check real quick. When did they post the video for it? Let me see here. Let me go to their YouTube channel, because the two most recent videos are the videos in the hospital. 4 weeks ago was when he said he was in the ER. And that was specifically August 26th. So it's not even a month. He was in the ER for not even a month.
Jeez.
Passed away in 3 weeks. And it was heartbreaking because it came on so suddenly. And then he had another update like a week later saying, like, I'm still there, I'm doing better. But at the end of the first video, he was like, I'm not going to walk out of this, I'm going to run. And just very positive, very uplifting about it. Like he was a fighter. And it really hit me hard because which is I don't quite understand fully why, because I'm not going to say I was like an avid watcher of their show. I was a fan because I liked what they did, but I was not necessarily like always watching their stuff. Um, and they've been doing it for, like I said, for 14 years.
Dang.
And I think the last time I remember watching them, I was playing Banjo Kazooie,
Oh,
and I remember like I would have it on in the background while playing Banjo Kazooie. It was a really nice, like I don't know, I really enjoyed
yeah.
that experience of kind of having both there, right?
Yeah. Oh, what a good
Um,
game to have that tied to.
right, yeah. So it it sucks because he was a huge part of the retro gaming community.
Hmm.
People from all walks of life. I mean, all over the place have been affected by this. And I
Hmm.
think what's it's interesting to me is like, and I hate even thinking this, but it's part of all my emotions with this, and this does not affect my feelings towards Billy at all. But Billy and Jay and the guys over there, their content is very kind of conservative coded, which isn't a bad thing, right? Like I'm
Hmm.
not going to flat out say it's a bad thing, but because of the climate we've been in for the last like 5 6 years, I hate that I even think about that.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand that that's even a thought in my mind because they are just genuinely good people from everything that I've seen. Um, but the reason I bring that up is like some of their friends that they've had that still do content. Like there's this dude. I'm not gonna say the guy's name. I don't need any fucking of his fans if they ever find this video to come at me. Um, but he does like rage bait videos, like conservative rage bait videos. You know, can you
Okay.
believe the uh, Naughty Dog said this? You know, they're pushing the gay agenda. You know, bullshit like that.
Can you
Like
believe
all
these
rage bait shit.
libtards are letting women be in video games?
It's really it's dumb. And
Yeah.
but what was I shouldn't say beautiful because it's a tragedy that Billy passed away, but when it happened, I saw people on the progressive side of the gaming space and the MAGA conservative side, all of them. No one had a bad thing to say about this dude.
Wow.
And the one that I did find, I wasn't looking for it. It was just another YouTuber that I'm a fan of that like talked about how they had a disagreement politically, and Billy said something really hurtful to him, and that's the
Mm.
most it ever was. Um, but like Billy just was such a good dude from by all accounts. And I'm speaking like I know this dude. I saw him in person once at Too Many Games.
Nice.
And I actually have a signed DVD from him and Jay from their third season of Game Chasers.
Oh, nice.
And it it just sucks because like I don't know why it hit me as hard as it did because it's not like like I said, it's not like I was a giant fan. I was a passing fan, if that makes sense. But I think
Yeah.
when I started watching their stuff, it was like right when I was starting to get into retro gaming YouTube. So the video game years, if you ever seen that, that's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Retroware TV, so like Clan of the Grey Wolf or whatever it is, 16-bit Gems, a show on that YouTube channel. Pat the NES Punk, AVGN. Uh, um, there's like a whole bunch of others. Like Retroware was a whole like, kind of like a collective of like retro gaming content creators, and the Game Chasers were part of them. And so I kind of associate that with like like the quote unquote my golden era of YouTube, like the era of YouTube I personally enjoyed the most. And he was a part of that. And even though I didn't watch him until I was like my mid 20s, right? It still felt like that was a YouTuber that I liked, and it was part of like this community that I became involved with, kind of in proximity with still loading in the podcast. I've interacted with some of these YouTubers now, like My Life in Gaming. I'm good friends with Try and Corey.
Yeah.
So having almost like it felt like one of our own passed away, even though I'm not part of the YouTuber space, but it just felt like part of our like a huge part, like a monumental part of the community died, and I just it sucked. It was so surprising and so sudden. And there's a video that came out today on a Wood YouTube channel called Beat 'em Ups.
Hmm.
Dude named Woodhawker. He's from Australia. He actually filmed a lot. He filmed with the Game Chasers a few times when he lived in Texas still. Now, actually, he lives close to me, which is kind of
Really?
crazy. I don't know where his address is, but I know
It'd be weird
the
if you
town
did.
he lives in. I know, but the thing is, he did a video when he moved to Pennsylvania, and like he went to a coffee shop near my work, and I'm like, that's just weird.
Oh, that's
Like he
bizarre.
videoed it. Like I like it's not like I have to do any digging. He just videoed it.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
this
you
is
might run into him.
um. No, I don't plan on it, but I and like it was interesting because I'm not a fan of Wood's content. This is nothing against him personally. I'm not even going to go off denigrating any of the stuff. I can talk to you off mic about it, but this is not really the time or place for that. But he posted the video because him and I guess it was like a relative of Billy's. I don't know if it was a brother or a cousin or someone he was just very close with. Literally was in the hospital with him for like a large chunk of these last 3 weeks. Wood was with him 24/7 for like the first week, like the moment he got into the hospital, for the first week. And then this other guy, I feel bad that I can't remember this other guy's name. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. He was with him for the rest of the time, and Wood came back like right after it, type of thing, right before the last week of it or so. Robbie is the other guy's name, Robbie. And they were both with Billy. Besides Billy and his wife too, they were both with him almost like 24/7 because they had the ability to. And it was just
Yeah.
they helped take care of him. Like if he needed pillows to be adjusted, they did that. And normally I would consider this like really kind of like fucked up, but it seemed like Billy was kind of in on this too. They filmed little bits um in the hospital, but not like scandalous, not trying to make him
Yeah.
look bad or like and also not like tragedy porn, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
anything like
That's what I
trying to
was.
make him look trying to show horrific stuff. It
Yeah.
was very optimistic and like it honestly made Billy just more of a beautiful person than
Oh.
I already kind of assumed. He within a week, so he went into the hospital because he lost his ability to like he couldn't really walk anymore. He lost like motor function of like the left side of his body, and it wasn't a stroke because the tumor was pressing on that side of his brain,
Whoa.
right? So they brought the swelling down, and within a week he taught himself how to walk again.
Whoa.
By the end of like he was like that's how strong-willed he was. And when the doctor came in apparently to give him his prognosis, he literally didn't even he's like, I don't want to know a timeline, I don't want to know the probability or the odds, I just want to do what's necessary. I don't want to know if I have 1 month left or 2 days left. I just want to do what's necessary.
Yeah.
And that way, if I don't think there's like a probability or an inevitability, I can fight this as hard as I can.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And holy shit, did he ever, man? He fought, and it's if you all want to know, can you share links in your chat? I don't know. I might because I'm a mod.
Yeah, you can
I
because you're a
can
mod.
because I'm a mod. So I just linked it there if anyone's curious, on Wood's channel. It's 50 minutes long, but it's a really like it made me cry a lot. There's a lot of moments that like, and it's hard to make me cry. It's not like a macho manly thing. I always have had a hard time to cry. I mean, you all know I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I have no problem showing emotion. It's just hard to cry, which sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
So in the video though, they talk about like one of the things that Billy said was like his son he has a kid too. He has a son.
Oh.
And at the end he said when he first went in there, he's like, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to walk by, this and this time, and I'm going to see my son's baseball game. And there's a video clip of him standing with a cane watching his son play baseball like a week after being diagnosed with cancer. And I'm like,
what?
I started bawling, dude. I was in tears. And literally like Billy, and just kind of goes to show like the type of person he was, I guess. Like they were saying like one of the last things he said was a joke. Like that's just kind of he was always joking around.
Yeah.
And I guess like it was like I don't know if he said it to Robbie or if he said it to Wood, but he basically held up like the barf bag, the little blue barf bag, and he looks at him and goes, they want me to piss in this. And that was like just just something stupid and silly. And honestly, the video was just, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful cathartic send off to him. And I was even considering doing a bonus episode on my Patreon about this, but I didn't really want to monetize his death. And not that I had
Yeah.
anything to say. Like, I'm not even fucking like tied with him, you know? Like, um,
That's a lesson that
it just,
everyone can learn right now.
yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
I know.
Um, but it was really beautiful to see the video because he wasn't alone. He was not alone at any point in time. Neither, and that freed his wife up to be able to take care of their son because
Yeah.
these two guys were there with him the whole time.
Right.
Because she has another equally important person in her life, and it's her child. Just it's a beautiful video. It's a beautiful tribute to a man who just really kind of changed the game in terms of retro gaming YouTube. And from all accounts, from people from all walks of life that I could see, like I saw people with like, you know, furries on Blue Sky lamenting that he passed away, right? Like it was everywhere. Um,
Well, he had a
and it just
profound
it
impact,
sucks.
it sounded like. I wish I, had some words to say, but I didn't know him. I didn't
No, you
know
don't
the.
have to have words. It's fine.
I know, but
It's I think what it I think the reason I brought up the politics thing before, not his politics don't fucking matter. He was a good human. Um and I want us to get back to that of like politics don't fuck. I don't know when that's going to happen. I am confident it will. I don't know when or how, but like he was just a good fucking person, and I don't know. I it's It
I,
just sucks.
I'm with
That's
you.
pretty much what it boils down to. It just sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you in that there are certain moments where politics don't matter. Now, you also have
Well,
to.
right now, unfortunately, politics very, very much matter right now. That's
Right.
why.
I mean, in situations of like, of what you're saying.
Oh, you're talking.
However, maybe this is I don't know. Not everything that sounds like politics is politics. So bigotry is not something I consider politics. So I
But
am.
we're not. Yeah. I'm just talking. I'm not. I'm tired of having to worry about who they voted for. I'm just tired of having that even. I shouldn't say worry. I'm tired of that having even being a fucking thought.
Yeah.
And that's a broader conversation that I don't think this is really meant to be.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound like he had
but
beliefs like that.
no.
It sounded like he was an all-around good dude.
I mean, I don't know. I feel bad I even brought it up. It's just it's tied in my head, which is why I'm thinking about it, and that's why I think it's fucked up that it's even in my head. I think that's why I'm bringing it up.
It's what we're faced with.
It sucks
all day, every day. So that's an understandable aspect to it for sure.
I hate that. So yeah, that's pretty much that's the heavy stuff for me. That's what I experienced this week. It sucked.
Yeah, I've
Billy was a good dude, and he's not here anymore.
Yeah, and that sucks. And sounded like there was a large outpouring of love towards him. Like I said, I wish I could say something nice about him, but I also know what it feels like to lose somebody that you only even know tangentially, or if at all. And something I think it's something about this space, the internet space. Like one of my most difficult to deal with, I'm just going to say celebrity deaths, but somebody in the public space. And he's the only one on this list that like most people wouldn't even know about. John Schnepp. He was a comic book creator. He was he co-created like Metalocalypse for Adult Swim. But he was on this channel Collider, which I followed for a really long time. I liked their movie stuff. A lot of their live programming was really cool. They've kind of just dissolved and they're weird with AI stuff now. I don't know. But he died in like 2017. Again, it was really sudden. I really, really looked up to him. He was hilarious. So he died in like 17, and in 2015, I started putting together ideas for like a graphic novel. I still am. I've lost speed on it because I need like $5,000 to make a pitch deck for it if I actually want to get it made by like an Image Comics or something like that. And I kept finding myself being like, I don't know. I don't know if I can just do it. Some regular guy. And John was always like so supportive and was just like, get out there and make the thing that you want to make. Basically like before it's too late. And he got to make some really cool things. And I was like devastated for like the entire day. I cried the entire day because of a guy on YouTube who I never met, never spoke to. And maybe he responded to one of my tweets or something one time, but like I was devastated because of especially when you have YouTubing and podcasting that are so accessible that anyone can do it. It takes away some of the mystique or the untouchableness of other things, like when a movie star dies or a big musical figure. I was really sad when Ozzy died. Like I grew up listening to his music. But it feels different than when John Schnepp died. It felt a little more personal, and I imagine that's kind of how it feels for you, because the barrier, I think, was thinner between our worlds.
Well, it's not the symbiotic, the parasocial relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have a close. It's the same reason why generally people who like, if someone who's a television star passes away, like back in the day, that hits a lot more. Now YouTubers are the new television stars, and YouTubers and Twitch streamers and podcasters and stuff like that. People, because you can take them anywhere. Like they're part of your lives at this point. So, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things.
Yeah,
oh no, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay. Well, one of the things that pretty much the last thing that John Schnepp worked on, you're gonna love this segue, was this movie called The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. And he made this documentary about...
Oh, yeah.
So Tim Burton was going to make a Superman movie with Nicolas Cage as Superman, which is just wild to me. I think they shot it. Like, I think they
shot, not the whole thing, but they shot a chunk of it.
Yeah. So... And then it got canned and all the studio stuff that you usually see and all this interference and whatever. And John Schnepp was like really interested in this project. So he and a couple other filmmakers, one of whom we may talk about soon, including, I'll just say it, Kevin Smith was involved in this project. And he made this...
Because he was brought in to direct it at one point.
Yeah. So he has this... I have it on Blu-ray. I'm looking at it right now.
Or something.
Yeah. Which... I also have like a really nice handwritten note from John Schnepp's partner, Holly, who fulfilled like the orders after he passed, and she was just like, thank you for your patience. And I just wanted to write back and be like, are you kidding me? Your literal like life partner just died. Like, it's okay that it was because like the orders were late, understandably.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, so if and when I make this graphic novel, in my dedications, I want to have one of my dedications be to him, because he was constantly telling me, if not me indirectly, create the shit that you want to see in the world. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Create the shit you want to see in the world, was basically his message. Mm-hmm. And yeah. This game, I keep wanting to say Game Changers, Game Chasers guy whose name I've sadly already forgotten. Was it Barry? Was that it? What was his name?
Jay, or Billy.
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 Yeah.
Jay is the other. Yeah, Billy.
There's a void now, but that his inspiration is gonna keep future generations inspired, and that is, I think, one of the coolest things that we can leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Kevin Smith,
Yes. Last week to a hard right turn, to
Yeah.
say the least. Last week I said you should watch Clerks. Like I wanted to see, like, I'm curious to see what you think about about like Kevin Smith stuff. And I think I even said, like, Clerks 1 hasn't aged all that well. I don't think you'd like it, but I would recommend this. And you're like, no, I'll start with the Clerks. I went, okay. So we started with Clerks. And did you actually get to watch it? You're very quiet. I can't see.
I know. Well, I really wanted to watch it last night, and today I watched it.
Unnecessary build up for fucking nothing. I'm also assuming you didn't like it, which is totally valid. But I remember watching it like, I don't think this is an Andrew movie, but I could be dead wrong.
I hated every second of it.
I figured as much.
I'm actually kidding. I loved every second of it.
Wait, are you serious?
I'm actually kidding again. I thought it was pretty good.
Okay. You liked it.
Yeah, I did like it. I actually went in
for what it is.
Thinking, yeah, for what it is. I went in thinking that I was going to have to try to like it, and I didn't. There was some, obviously it came out in what, 95, yes. 94,
94, and it was filmed in 92. Released originally in Sundance in 93, like premiered in Sundance in 93 and released theatrically in 94.
Okay. Yeah, like,
yeah,
we can talk about specifics, but there's a lot of it that's like, yeah, this was the early 90s. Sure.
There's language in it that we would not use now at all.
Yeah. And even despite that, I had a much easier time with this than I did with something like Blazing Saddles. I feel like it was
that
not.
Still surprises me.
I know.
That genuinely surprises me still.
But I feel like it was so much less frequent than Blazing Saddles.
Oh yeah, Blazing Saddles. I mean, yeah. Anyway, sorry, we don't need to dissect that one. But yeah, no, I can really think only on like one or two. Like two, I remember 2 times at least he drops the other F-bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple times, couple F slurs.
That's the only kind of time I can remember. But I think when I was texting you last night that I'm like, oh wow, this is like, there's some problematic stuff with it. It was specifically something because the first time I watched it, I don't think I realized it, but I didn't realize how shitty of a person Dante was when I first watched it.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert for anyone who has not seen Clerks, we are going to be spoiling it for this. I think what surprised me about it though, like watching it, is like, I shouldn't say surprised, but like I was like, oh man, I don't know if Andrew's gonna like this because Dante's a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's not, like, he's really not a good person. And in a weird sense, like, Randall is also a piece of shit, but he kind of is like aware of it in a weird sense. Like he's aware nobody likes him, and he's okay with that. Dante thinks he's a good guy, but he's got a lot of fucked up thoughts. And
and actions.
It's weird, like. And actions. And what I watching it last night, I really like that he doesn't really win. Like, he learns a lesson the hard way, and there's no like happy ending for him. He fucked up, and he doesn't get his happy ending.
It would have been
the happy
weird.
ending is life will go on, but that's about it. Like, it's like, we'll figure this out. You don't know what's going to happen. He's not in a good place, but that's it. I don't know. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's very Scott Pilgrim, or I should say maybe Scott Pilgrim is very Clerks.
Yeah.
And what kept me engaged is that kind of same energy, tapping into the same energy that I have to tap into when I watch something like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's like everybody kind of sucks, but you're not really there to root for them. You're not really there to want to be them, or you're just there to kind of witness this slice of life of people's messy lives, young people having
learn from
messy
almost.
lives, and learn from it. I mean, he learns you can't just blase cheat on your girlfriend. Like, and the something I found interesting is there's a lot that it calls out about toxic masculinity and misogyny, but then there's still so much that is left with like, why is this still? Are you trying to say?
Part of it, I feel like, is just a product of the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's just, toxic masculinity, the idea of it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. Like, it was obviously there. There's people who are like, there's feminists, right? Obviously pushing back against it. But, like, I don't, but, back then, feminism, especially since a lot of things were a lot more conservative coded, where it was like, like they're crazy, that kind of thing. And now, there's still obviously elements to that, but it's not nearly as like derogatory. I would feel like, maybe that's just my perception. But like, what I find interesting is that, and you see this a lot with Kevin Smith's like early stuff. Maybe not so much with Mallrats, a little bit with Mallrats, but like, a lot of Kevin Smith's early stuff is him wrestling with emotions, him wrestling with things he sees in himself that he's not sure about. So that's kind of like why you like is specifically, there's a lot of funny jokes in this. One of my favorites, and this ties into what I'm about to say. 37. 37. For if you ever see Kevin Smith
at the same time,
pictures, like especially. At the same time, that's such a good that's the first question. 37. My girlfriend sucks 37 dicks in a row.
Yeah, in a row.
That's the first question. But like when he is first talking to Veronica and asks, he asks how many guys have you slept with, and she says 3, and she asks him how many girls she slept with, and he's like, what? 12 or something like that, 13, something like that. And she's like, what the fuck? You slept with 12 different women? That's crazy. And then I like how it is kind of funny where she's like, I've only slept with 3 guys. He's like, oh, that's it? Okay, that's not so bad. And then she's like, yeah, but I've gone down on 37.
yeah. Including you.
Including you, which you're the most recent one, which means I've been faithful to you.
Yeah. And his little freak out of like, I wish you had slept with them. Like that would be easy, but like this is fucked up. It's like, wait, what? The double standard is wild.
Well, I think that's meant to be more of a joke, but like the reason why he's so outraged though is that was a real issue with that Kevin had. Kevin was so insecure about himself because he talks about this a lot on his podcasts. Since he grew up overweight, even though he really wasn't, man. Like you see him in this movie, he really wasn't overweight.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, but 90s and fat phobia was a fucking wild time.
Yeah.
And so because of that, he had this inferiority complex, and he talks about it a lot on his podcast. I'm not sharing tales out of school. He talks about it openly on his podcasts all the time. But that was a real, like, something that really got under his skin. Like, if he knew his girlfriend was with somebody prior to him, he would always compare himself to that person and be shitty about it to his girlfriend. Like he talks about how shitty he was, especially to his longtime girlfriend Kim Lochran, who was like his high school sweetheart. And he tells, like, there's some stories he talks about, like he does some, like, he's a teenager, so it's hormones are raging, but he does some real fucked up shit. Like, you know what? I'll just say it. It's not me, and he shared it openly on the podcast. He got really bent out of shape where, like, Kim mentioned one time that she was talking about a guy she had sex with one time before. Or, like, maybe not even had sex, maybe just made out, but, like, I think they had sex, like, one time. And some dude named Andy. And he got she brought it up. Like, he knew about it already, but she brought it up randomly, and he got real uptight about it. And so while this is serial killer shit, just maybe a slight trigger warning even. Like, she's okay. Everyone's okay.
Okay.
But, like, he went over to her house while she was not there, and Kevin and her, like, they would save all the stuff. They would, like, he would write her notes and draw her pictures and everything, and she would do the same for him. So they had like shrines to each other in their respective rooms.
Okay.
And he went over to her Kevin shrine and took it all down. And in her yearbook wrote, "Kim loves Andy, the kid." And then that's creepy enough. And
Yeah.
then he hid in her closet to watch her reaction.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm not, he admits flat out, he's like, I don't know how I'm not a serial killer right now. Like, he flat out like talks about like the insanity of what that was.
High school was a wild time.
Dude, and like I was listening to this, I'm like, I've never had that thought once in my life. And he calls himself out on it on the podcast. Like, but that's how much of inferiority complex he had. That's how traumatized he was by the, like, what he had went through leading up to that. Not justifying it, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But like, you can see in that scene him working through that by like him putting it on film. It's him working through his insecurities. And to be clear, I am not in any way, shape, or form condoning what he did with that. That's serial killer shit.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. That's insane. And he, like I said on the podcast, just to be clear, he was like appalled by his behavior. Like, he was listening. The reason he brings it up on a podcast is that he found an old cassette recorder tape that he was recording his thoughts to himself when he was like 18 or 19 years old, biking around Highlands, New Jersey. And he tells the story on the cassette, and then when Kevin, like old adult Kev, is listening to it, he goes, "Oh God!" And he just starts remembering it, and he starts having like he's that secondhand embarrassment, kind of what we were talking about before.
Yeah,
he's doing something so embarrassing, and he talks about that. So he talks about a lot of the fucked up stuff that he was feeling. Maybe not necessarily. That was probably the worst I've heard him share, but. There's a lot of stuff in the movie that is just him working out his insecurities, and that scene is a very big example of that. And the whole, like, Dante's whole character arc is an example of him working through his insecurities until you get to the point where Silent Bob actually speaks, and there's many fine women in the girl, dude, but they're not all going to bring you lasagna at work.
Yeah.
Really good moment.
I was like,
and he goes,
not so silent, I guess.
Like, some profound wisdom from Bob over here.
Right.
And then Dante's like, "Oh my God, I do love her. What the fuck was I doing?" And like everything clicks together, and by then it's too late because he fucks it all up.
Yeah, and what a ride too, because it could have been easy for him to just be clear cut, like, I'm a shitty person, but like both of the women he's involved in also have glaring flaws. One is willing to openly cheat on her boyfriend, and the other is like anyone, yeah. But then, like, Veronica is also like, she's also really insecure. She's also physically abusive to him. Like, she kind of kicks the crap out of him in this movie, and it's played for laughs, but it's like, if this were turned and he was doing it to her, physical abuse is not cool, regardless of which side. But, I don't know. If that's her only flaw, then...
I feel like in this instance, Dante kind of deserved it in a weird sense. Like, at the end, I should say. Like, I shouldn't say that deserved. That's a victim blaming. But you know what I'm... Like...
Yeah.
Dante's not a good person. I'm not surprised she got mad enough. I'm not saying she should have done it, but I'm not surprised she got mad enough to do that.
Yeah, she starts hitting him in the beginning too when he says that he's slept with 12 girls. But then...
Oh yeah, she slaps him in the head.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, I know it could have been way worse, but physical abuse is physical abuse.
Yes.
No one is free from fault in this movie, and like I was saying, like, I think that's kind of part of it. Even Randall, like, while he's having some of his like really profound moments of saying things, we're like, oh wow, yeah, actually that was really... He'll immediately then turn and just be like a little shit again, and it's like, okay,
he's not. Yeah, he is. an awful human.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, and that if you watch the other Clerks movies, that becomes a running theme of their relationship where like Randall is honest, and
Mm.
in general, he's going to say stuff to be funny and to be brutally honest, and he doesn't. But he doesn't. It's a weird thing where it's like he doesn't care, but he does care. Like he
Yeah.
genuinely cares about Dante, but he shows it in the strangest ways.
I'm dying because I'm just remembering the part where he just spits his water in the dude's face because he just wants him to shut up. Because he's talking about the tabloids and he just leans in and just... It's so over the top.
I also love the moment where he's reading all the porn titles.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then he's like, oh yeah, and then, you know, puppy protectors.
What
It was like Paw
Happy
Patrol.
Scrappy Hero Pup. What?
It should have just been Paw Patrol.
Oh my god, that was... Well, I mean, that wasn't out yet, but yes.
Did Clerks predict Paw Patrol?
I wonder if Happy Scrappy Hero Pup was a real thing.
Yeah, or like a working
or if
title.
He just made it up.
I imagine it was probably made up. Jimmy says Randall has the best take on Lord of the Rings.
Oh yes, in Lord of the Rings, in the Clerks 2, he rips apart Lord of the Rings, not in
really?
Mr. Josh way, but like oh yeah, he. It's really fucking funny. Clerks 2, I actually think is one of my favorite Askew Universe movies.
Okay.
But no, what I know we kind of jumped into like all the heavy stuff with this, but there's that like this movie is meant to be a comedy, but it's got a lot of like heavy moments in it too. I think one of my favorite running gags is one of Kevin's best friends, Walt Flanagan, is in this movie like 4 fucking times.
Yes, I noticed that in the credits. I was like, wait, those were all the same guy?
Yeah,
the egg guy,
the first dude who comes in for cigarettes, and then you know after the whole cancer emergent thing, he after he pelts him with cigarettes, he gets sprayed with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
He just walks back up, pack cigarettes.
Pack of cigarettes.
That's such a good comedic beat.
Yeah.
After that whole thing, pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. The egg guy.
Plays the egg inspector.
That was
my
so
favorite
funny.
Moment. He's just
no, smashes them.
Yeah. He's like, these are all awful. I can't do it.
But then is it Veronica that comes in and is like, yeah, well, he pays for everything he smashes.
Oh no, it wasn't Veronica. It was a random customer played by Kevin Smith's real life sister.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I got the sense that every single person in this movie was just everyone he knew.
Yes,
and you know what? Like,
I mean, he made. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I noticed that as I was watching it, like, we got a police that watched it with me, and she was like, "This feels like such a film school film," and I was like, "Yeah, like it feels like not even that. It just feels like you're running around the neighborhood with a camera and like $800, and you know, everyone you know is in it." And I got to the point where I was like, "Wait, I think the worst part about this movie is also my favorite part about this movie, and it's how bad the acting is."
The acting. Yeah.
Like, it's so awful, but it lends such a charm to the world. Like, it feels more authentic, even though it feels fake. Like, it's hard to
what's
quantify.
Really interesting. So actually, one question. What did Polisa think of it? I'm assuming she probably didn't like it, but I don't know.
She liked it.
I just assume most people don't.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was expecting neither of us to like it. I was like, just bear in mind, like, this is of its time. I didn't even know what I was getting into, but I gave her the bit of preamble, as I tend to do, and she liked it less than I did, but still was like, I'm okay with it. A lot of it, I think, came from, like, she's like, naturally and understandably took the misogyny aspects a little harder, and a lot of it was like, it's just wild seeing, and I don't know if this was the intent. I don't necessarily see it as like celebrating this behavior, but she's like, I didn't necessarily feel like the anything was learned. That like the shitty people didn't really like they get away with being shitty for the most part, and there's a lot of privilege there. That's like if somebody was, like if Randall was non-white or if Randall was a woman and acting the way that he did.
Gotta wait for Clerks 3. Yeah.
Oh God.
Clerks 3 will make you cry. Let me tell you.
Oh, okay.
It's surprising.
Interesting.
Sorry, continue with your thought.
Yeah.
With what you're saying.
She liked it less than I did, but didn't dislike it. She was kind of neutral on it.
I can tell you at least from that aspect of the privilege thing, there was no commentary at all on Kevin's end with that. He grew up in a white ass neighborhood in the 70s.
Yeah.
Who like the only people of color they saw were like maybe there's like 3 people. So like it's just everyone in that area was just white, right? And he grew up in that area, so there's not like anything with that. You should wait till you see like Chasing. There's a there's a lot of great stuff. Like in the movie Dogma. Have you ever seen Dogma?
No, I haven't. So we talked about this last week. For anyone just tuning in now, I've not seen any Kevin Smith movies until this one. I think I may have seen some of Mallrats when I was a kid, but I don't remember anything except the 3D. Them trying to do the 3D thing of the boat.
Okay. So they did in Dogma. There's just to talk about like he brings on a lot more people. I shouldn't say a lot more people of color, but like one of the great lines in it is that like Chris Rock is in that movie, and he's actually the 13th disciple, but no one ever talked about him because he's black. And, and so his name's Rufus, and he talks about how like he was erased from history because of that, and he talks about how Jesus was black, he was from the Middle East, like that kind of stuff. So like, it's really kind of funny. So Kevin, you have to watch some of his stuff to see how it's progressed. But in Clerks, it's not even like a second thought. I will disagree. I don't know how much she said with it, but like I will disagree. It's not that I don't think they learn anything. I think they get their comeuppance, which you don't know what their lesson is because you don't see what they learn after the fact. You don't see what happens in the aftermath. You see them get their just desserts. So at least like Randall, since he's not the main character, he doesn't really get anything. But if you watch the rest of the Clerks movies, it becomes a running commentary about how he doesn't have any friends except for Dante.
Yeah.
And everyone talks about, and I wonder why, Randall, why doesn't anyone want to talk to you or hang out with you? And it kind of explores their friendship and why they are still friends all the years later. Honestly, that's why the Clerks movies in general, I enjoy a lot as time goes on, because at the end of each Clerks movie, and you can kind of see it you see it at the start of this one, there's always some type of like deep, I don't know if message, but it's a question that Kevin asks, and it's not really meant to be an answer. It's meant to get you thinking, I guess. And in this one, it starts off with Randall telling Dante like, you got to shit or get off the pot. Like you're always like saying there's a problem here, but you never fucking do anything about it. Shit or get off the pot.
And he has no boundaries whatsoever.
Who doesn't, Randall?
Dante.
Yeah, he doesn't set any boundaries whatsoever. He gets called in on his day off. He lets people walk all over him.
Yeah. But then he also does that to Veronica. Like he's just like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, yeah, I'm cheating on her, so what? Like, what?
He is trying to this. I do not condone the character of Dante and how he's handling this, but I can understand the anxiety of not being sure how you feel about your significant other, or like having like for me, one of the things with my wife was that I was I knew things were serious, and I didn't want to like propose and go through all this stuff if I wasn't 100% certain or willing to take the leap of faith for marriage either, or whatnot. And it took me so long to propose because of that. And I feel like Dante's going through that same anxiety, but his method of coping with that anxiety is problematic and fucked up. It's cheating. It's him, like, while he's still... And Randall calls it out. He's like, how about you, like, you try to hook up with your ex-girlfriend to solve the solutions or solve the problems with your current girl without even tried to hook up with your ex-girlfriend without even fucking discussing how you felt with your current
With your current one, yeah.
and he specifically calls it out that like you have these conflicted emotions, and if you really care, if you are as a good person that you say you were, whether you care about Veronica or not, you would talk to her about this because she's sacrificed for him. She switched colleges for him to help encourage him to go to school. And like, what I like about this, and it's not like this movie would definitely not pass the Bechdel test, but like, what I like though is that most of the women in his movie, even in this one, have some semblance of agency to an extent. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's not misogynistic, but like, she is talking like. Even Caitlin Bree, the girl who is dating the Asian design major.
Yeah.
Weird thing.
That was probably the other part that left a bad taste in the mouth.
Bizarrely like casual racism.
Oh, you and me are the only, or you and me are the only two people here that eat Chinese, and it's like Yeah.
But like she talks about how she's like, I don't want to be a housewife. I did not go through all this work to get an education just to sit around and watch this dude make money. And I don't want, like, she's very independent. She's very like, I just want to have fun and not think about this type of shit. And that's very, for 1993, if you think about how like a lot of times women were portrayed, you wouldn't see something like that necessarily. And Veronica, you said, like, she is the one going to school. She's the one making something with her life and, like, doing her own thing. And when she finds out that Dante isn't even, like, trying anymore, like, it's not that he's not trying to further with his life, but he's not even trying with the relationship anymore. She's like, no, you've lost. You don't get me anymore.
Yeah.
And once again, not saying it's perfect, but it's almost like their response to Dante's bullshit. His Dante's toxic masculinity and misogyny and stuff like that.
Yeah, they give him the chance to get there on his own. They're like, I'm not going to hold your hand for this. I'm not going. You got to figure this out. I like what you. Yeah, I think she does say something like, "You don't get me anymore."
I'm not going to. Exactly what you said too. She says, "I'm not going to hold your hand with this anymore." It's like he doesn't win, and I think that's what's so interesting about it. And like it's a very slice of life thing with all the goofy stuff and all the shenanigans that happens, playing hockey on the roof, fucking up, going to a wake, and then completely
all those were great. It felt like a sketch show at times.
Yeah,
it was the editing was so weird though, like, not weird in a bad way, but it's just so funny because it will abruptly change, and then the camera angle will not move for like 10 minutes, like while they're just monologuing, and then it'll jump to just Jay and Silent Bob dancing outside. Which
I love it. Jay and Silent Bob are so fun. Jay is like, he's so weird where he's like, how can I say this? You ever meet someone who's problematic but is so innocent they don't realize they're problematic?
Yes.
That's Jay.
Yeah. I thought I was gonna hate him from what I've seen, like little clips and just from what I've heard. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be like just the annoying stoner kid favorite movie. Like, it's gonna be another like proto Superbad or some shit, and it's not. And Jay and Silent Bob, I can 100% see why they became like the kind of faces of this universe, as it were, because they have the most. I think they're the most iconic. This word gets thrown around a lot, but like they have such a distinct fingerprint of this movie. Obviously, one of them is the guy who made the movie, but like you said, like Jay is so weird and his dialogue is so good, and then with Silent Bob, just I don't want to say never because he speaks at the end, but hardly ever saying anything. And they, with them also having little to nothing to do with the actual movie, like the story and the plot, it's so funny. They're just there. There's one scene where Jay's just jumping around outside the window. You just see him outside the window, and then like when Randall is just he's completely ignoring the woman in the movie in the video store, and she just like runs out, and he's like, "Don't you ever shop here again?" And then Jay just goes, "Yeah." just like
He's just so supportive.
helps chase her away.
Or like when they're playing hockey and the dude hits the ball off the roof and he goes, they're like,
You see any balls?
You ever see balls? About the biggest pair you'll ever see, Dingleberry.
Dingleberry. Oh my god. There are so many.
It gets me every fucking time.
That one had me rolling.
Even I know he uses a problematic word, so I'm not justifying it. But when you first meet them, and they show up and he slings the jacket over him, he's like, all right, Salabah, we're going to make some money. And then he talks about, like, I'm going to go down and you suck you off like a circus seal. And then he starts mimicking it.
He's like,
and then he realizes what he's doing. Like, hey, you F word.
Yeah.
I'm not
gay.
I'm not gay. I love women.
I love women. That's so funny. What's up, sluts? It's so over the top. Like it's so, I don't know what it is. Like there can be that type of humor that just pisses me off because I know so many people actually like that, but he's so far over the top that it almost is like a caricature, which I think is why I can find it funny because it's so rare. What?
Sorry, I was gonna say they call it out in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back,
really?
Where like he meets these beautiful women, and he goes in and he calls them all bitches, and one girl like whips out a knife, is about to like stab him, and he's just like, "Whoa, what's the problem here?" He's like genuinely confused, and the girl who's there is like, "Jay, women don't like to be called bitches." Really? He goes, "Really?" Like,
My God.
Like, what about like? And then he says like sluts or something like that. And they're like, no. They're like, how about something nice and sweet? And he kind of like thinks. He goes, "Boo boo kitty fuck."
Boo boo kitty fuck. What's up, sluts? That one got me.
And but like when he's talking to other women, he's not like always debasing them. It's just he's a weird character.
Yeah.
He's a really like nonsensical. One of my favorite moments is when you meet his cousin Walt, or Silent Bob's cousin Walt.
Oh my God!
Sings Berserker.
I kept going. My love for you is like a truck berserker. And then there's a scene later where you can hear that song playing. Like they're like at a club or something, and you can hear his band actually singing the song. I'm like, that's dope.
My favorite part is like, would you like some making fuck berserker?
That's like,
the girl's like, did he just say making fuck?
Making fuck. I mean, talk about proto super bad, and also this is the second time I'm referencing this in this episode, but that feels like the proto death clock. You know, like pre Metalocalypse. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
It's just so, there's so many great moments in it, man. Like it's such a weird movie because it's like I will watch it and not really laugh too hard, but then I repeat it. I'm like, that's really fucking funny, actually. Like, or I'll say another scene, like, oh, that's really fucking funny too.
Yeah. There's a couple of laugh out loud moments.
Yeah. So some fun behind the scenes stuff with this too. I've talked a bit about it already. Randall is based off of his friend Brian Johnson, who is not so much like that anymore, but he was very much like that back in the day, where he was just rude to customers for no reason. He just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He was that kind of person. Also did not like authority, still doesn't like authority.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. That kind of thing. Dante is very much Kevin Smith, which is not surprising based off what I told you earlier. Him working through his anxieties. Jay is based off of Jay. Like that is what, like it's a weird version of it. He wouldn't necessarily. I shouldn't say. I would have to go back to listen to some podcasts. I don't know if he would go around just calling women bitches and sluts. But like Kevin talked about how when he first met Jay is like in this movie. So Kevin is 22 when he's making this.
Wow.
Wait, he would have been 22 in 1992 when they filmed it. Yeah, so hold on. Let me see. How old is Jason Mewes? He's younger than Kev. I just don't remember how many years younger than Kevin he is.
And they were friends since they were kids, right?
Yeah. He is 4 years younger than Kevin, just about.
Okay.
So he was like 17 when they filmed it. He
What?
wasn't even 18 at the time.
Jeez.
Um, and so when Kevin first met him, he was like 14 or something like that, right? And or maybe like 15. And Kevin used to work at the Highlands Rec Center, and Jay would come in. They had like a little mini arcade, like pinball tables and all this other stuff, and like air hockey, and he would just walk in and just start filleting every single thing, like mock filleting anything that even remotely looked like a dick, like all the joysticks. He would start mock filleting all this stuff, and then he even talks about how like he got to an arcade machine that only had like the spin balls or whatever, like
Yeah, yeah.
the track balls.
Trackballs.
And so Kevin's like, well, there's no way he can fillet that. And then he started playing them like he was playing with nipples. Like he just started like, and that was Jason Mewes. He was
Yeah.
just this weird fucking kid who just did shit to get a laugh out of people. And so Jay was based off of like a weird eccentric version of Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the goofy little like one-off jokes, just displaying the slice of life in Leonardo, New Jersey, where the Quick Stop is like stuff that him and his friends would just do, and like, or that would happen like one time, like for example, like the Walt thing with like Berserker and everything like that. His real friend Walt Flanagan, they were at a mall one time, and they met they basically convinced some random girls that Walt is from a different country and or like from Russia or something like that. I think that's what it was. And they're like, really, could he speak Russian? And Walt just made up a fake word. That's where Skroudnik comes from.
Skroudnik.
It's not Russian.
Yeah.
He just said it, and he was walking around like the mall, and they kept that facade up for like an entire afternoon, and they thought it was the funniest thing.
I have so many memories like that.
Into a movie.
Like,
right?
I love that. We've all done, and that's I think part of why I liked it so much, or liked it as much as I did. I don't want to upplay it or downplay it. I liked it.
I liked it. I think the reason Kevin Smith has grown, and like I've grown to be such a big fan of his stuff feels very genuine, and honest. It feels very much like you and your and as his career goes on, it's a little less that, not because he isn't trying his best, but because like he talks about this a lot, like after like Jay and Silent, after Clerks 2, I would say he kind of started running out of stuff to say. So a lot of his movies after that, like
is that when he made Tusk?
No, Tusk was when he realized he didn't have to say anything. He could just make shit that he wanted to see.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's when he decided to make Tusk and Yoga Hosers, and whatnot. And then he kind of more recently, he's like starting to come up with like, well, what do I want to say now that I'm in my 50s or like 40s? And that's when some of the stuff is starting to come back. So, but in the early ones, in his early career, it's a lot about him dealing with anxieties that he doesn't know how to confront. The like Chasing Amy I've talked about before is very much him dealing with the anxiety of like finally getting over that insecurity of that, like, I'm not going to be someone's first and I can't expect them to be my first type of thing, like really kind of coming to grips with that. And he does it in a weird way, and now would probably be problematic, but once again for 1996 was super progressive.
But I bet a lot, and then I had some shades of that in early relationships too, and I bet it comes from the same place as mine did, which was religious trauma.
He grew up Catholic.
Yep.
He talks about it. And Dogma is him working through his religious anxieties and really trying to work that out.
That's the next one, right? Because in the credits, it's like Jay and Silent Bob will return in Dogma.
It was supposed to be. But then that would have been a much big, because that's a very ambitious movie. His next movie is Mallrats, which is basically just Clerks in a mall. Like, I would say that there's more flat out jokes in it. The characters are, I would argue, a little bit worse and learn less. Because they get a happy ending that they genuinely don't deserve.
Oh, no.
But I think the movie's funnier, if that helps at all.
Yeah.
Then after that, Mallrats flopped in the theaters. Now it's kind of found more of a cult following.
I would say,
But
from my limited
it flopped in
perspective,
theaters.
Mallrats was the one that I heard the most about growing up.
It
was Clerkin and
it is
Mallrats.
genuinely one of the funniest. There's still moments in that movie that will make me laugh out loud. Clerks doesn't always make me laugh out loud. Depends on my mood, but Mallrats usually has a moment where I'll at least chuckle.
Yeah, I had a couple of moments,
I like Mallrats a lot,
especially in this first one, like about the honesty of it and about the like, oh my god, I have so many stories just like that from working at Dairy Queen or GameStop or like Polisa all the time is asking me like, tell me like a weird work story or a weird character that you have that would come in all the time. Like we had characters as weird as the egg guy coming into like GameStop or Dairy Queen or whatever, and I resonated with that so much, and the honesty of it and the rawness and even the messiness of it. Like I said, it looking and feeling like it was done on a budget of $800 for the entire movie. Like, and that's kind of part of the charm. And actually, I had a theory. I don't know if this is true. Did he shoot it in black and white because black and white film was cheaper, or is that a aesthetic choice?
It was because it was cheaper.
Really?
He could not afford color film.
I thought so.
It was so it ended up working out because it made it like stand out compared to all the other indie films at the time. Because it was like, oh, this is an artsy film, and then it turns into a bunch of dick and fart jokes. And they're like, what is this?
Smoking weed, fucking girls, doing coke,
drinking beers.
The
budget for this movie was $27,575.
Damn.
In 1992, he filmed it by selling most of his comic books and getting like 4 credit cards.
Oh, God.
That's how he I don't know how many exactly, but it was a lot of credit. It was like at least 3 credit cards.
Yeah. And he bought a lot of those comics back, I think you're telling me, right? When he made enough money.
He bought them back once he started making money again.
I love that.
Once he made money off it. The journey to getting it, man, like this is how far down this rabbit hole I go. So the movie got picked up. So he talks about this a lot, where like ignorance goes a long way sometimes, because when he first saw the inspiration for Clerks was a movie by a dude named Richard Linklater called Slacker, and it's kind of a similar. I've never seen it, but it's a similar style in terms of like slice of life, kind of like very kind of like raw footage, like raw feeling. And he saw it and was just blown away by it, couldn't believe it, and so he looked up, he learned information about Richard Linklater, from like movie trades and stuff. There was no internet back then.
Yeah.
And he was from Austin, Texas, and he's like, Austin, if a dude from a small fucking bumblefuck place like Austin, Texas, that was literally what his thought. He's like, if that dude can make a movie, I can make a movie. He had no idea Austin, Texas was a giant fucking city.
I was gonna say,
like, yeah, he had no idea. He was just ignorant. And then he then ends up going to film school in Vancouver to learn just enough, and he meets his cinematographer Dave Klein and his producer Scott Mosier at the Vancouver Film School. And he drops out though. He drops out. He's like, I've learned enough, and just leaves. Comes back, and they end up like him, Scott, and Dave all wrote a script, and I forget, they had a way to choose whose movie was gonna get made. His ends up getting made, and a lot of limitations breed creativity with this. The Quick Stop store, Kevin worked there. That was the same store he actually worked in.
Nice.
Same with the RST Video next door. It was both owned by an Indian couple named the Toppers, and he rented the store from them. They filmed overnight. That's why there's gum jammed in the locks, because they could film at night and make it seem like it was still daytime because the shutters were closed.
And with it being black and white, it's probably easier to hide that too.
It was also easier for lighting for that too. Yep.
Huh.
So they film it at night. And the way they actually film it is that because they could not afford a lot of film. So what they did, they rehearsed it like a play. they would rehearse it with the actors
Yeah.
over and over and over again. So that way they would only have to actually film 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah, there's plenty of times where I noticed like, ooh, that was a flubbed line or a weird stutter, and I was like, I bet they just didn't want to go back because the film was expensive and
They didn't have money.
they did
did not have money
on a budget of duct tape and dreams, which still kind of adds to the charm a bit. It's a bit jarring at first because it feels like a play, or it feels like the whole time every actor is just trying to remember their lines and say the next line, and like you'll see them starting to like prepare to say the next line while the previous line is going. And I think in any other movie I would be like, oh my god, I hate this, but the general tone of the whole thing I think weirdly lended itself really well to that. So I'm sure that gets better as these movies go on, which kind of makes me sad.
Yes. He changes his tone up for the movies. Like like I genuinely feel, especially with his first couple, like the tone matches it. Clerks 2 feels like nothing like this. It's similar in tone in terms of the dynamics, but it doesn't like this. I think the black and white nature also adds to like maybe like a security camera feel, like you're watching a security camera of these people's lives, but it's done cinematically, right? Like a cinematic security camera almost. So they filmed it at night. The fun fact, this is all behind the scenes stuff. I guess it's all fun facts, but the milkmaid scene where the woman's like looking at the expiration dates, that's his mom.
Aww.
And he calls his mom in the middle of the night, like 2:00 in the morning, and say, "Mom, the person who's supposed to do this dropped out. Can you please come down?" And so she drives from their house to the quick stop store and films this.
That's amazing. Wait, they didn't shoot it all in one night, did they?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was over the course of like a month or so. I don't know the exact date ranges, but it was like over the course of a month.
But just in the middle of the night, that's exhausting.
Well, one of the reasons Walt ends up in so many different roles, like the cigarette guy, the egg guy, he also ends up as the offended customer when they clearly show a vagina on.
Yeah, like, that's right.
I can see her kidneys. Like Walt, the reason Walt was in all that was because he was a night owl anyway, and the people who were scheduled to do it, the people they cast in those scenes, didn't show up because they would film it at they would film from like 10 p.m. to like 6 a.m. type of shit. Like they were getting very little sleep at the time. Like this was a passion project.
Yeah, it's evident.
So they film it all. They cut the movie, and they bring it to this place called the Angelica Film Festival, which is up in New York, the Angelica Theater, I believe. New York. I think that's what it... Let me double check with that. Angelica Film Center, that's what it is. Yeah, it still is a thing, the Angelica Film Center. So they would have like indie movie showcases. And so in his mind, once again, ignorance going a long way. He was just like, okay, well, like Richard Linklater brought his movie to this thing and it got picked up. So I'm going to bring my movie to this thing and get picked up. And there's a certain time slot that they're given, and it was at the end of the festival. They're like, oh man, everyone's gonna watch all these series movies. Just wait, kids, jokes are coming. There's gonna be yucks around.
Yeah.
And it was like a Sunday afternoon time slot, so no one was going to that at all.
Yeah,
it was, the theater was empty.
At a convention, Sunday is the day where everybody's already gone.
Right. So they go to this premiere essentially, and he's heartbroken. Like he's watching the movie in horror, and he talks about like, this is like, no one's here. I'm in so much debt.
Yeah.
How am I going to pay all this? And he goes through this whirlwind of emotions. He talks about how like by the end of the movie, he's like, you know what? I made a good fucking movie, and if all that comes out of this is that I'm going to have to find a way to pay off this debt, I'm still happy I did it because I put my stamp out there. And he even talks about there was this one actress who came up afterwards and said she hated the movie, but she gave him her business card anyway because it was vulgar. Like no one had really seen a movie like that. But there was one guy in the audience named Bob Hawke, and the reason he he was like a movie finder. He would like Kevin goes through the whole story about how it ends up getting found, um, and he goes. What is it? Bob Hawke sees the movie. He talked to Kevin years later that he saw it because he saw like the thumbnail, the little thumbnail image in the brochure for all the different movies to
Yeah.
get an idea of it. And he said it looked so bad that he had to see what the movie was like. Um,
Jeez.
yeah,
That's
the
terrible.
thumbnail just looked so awful because it was blurry. Like
Yeah.
once again, shoelace and duct tape. It was like it was just how this went along. So he goes to see it and he loves it though. He sees the
Mm.
movie and loves it. And because of that, he's um what is it? He starts telling other people about it. So Kevin, like in the worst moment of like the next day, he starts getting calls from like newspapers saying, "Hey, could you send me like the film to watch? Because I've been hearing it's like the secret gem of the Veronica Film Festival." And that's how the whole thing takes off. I'm not going to tell the
Wow.
whole story mainly because I don't remember it, but
Yeah.
that's in a nutshell how the movie kind of starts in this thing. Like he lives and dies 1,000 deaths in the first full screening of it.
Yeah.
Um,
I know Weinstein was involved eventually too.
yes, he once everything with once everything involved with Weinstein came out, and now if Kevin Smith is to be believed with all this, mind you, he basically, let me see if I can find this real quick.
I saw a clip of him talking about it.
Yeah, he basically says like once the Weinstein thing came out, he had a real thing. Is like this thing was the best thing that ever happened in my life, and I owe Harvey Weinstein my career. But how can I be happy about that when he's hurt so many people?
Yeah.
And he didn't defend Harvey Weinstein. He was conflicted because like that kind of understandably so. Like the person that gave you everything is also the worst human being, one of the worst human beings on the planet. Like
Yeah.
how do you reconcile that? And so he talks about, I think what he ended up doing was he was talking about how the royalties from Clerks going forward is all going to be donated to like a women in film type of charity to help
Nice.
that type of thing. And then once, from what I read somewhere, he was saying how like, oh well, the movie actually doesn't earn that much, so I'm just going to give a certain lump sum, you know, certain lump sum every single month or something like that.
Nice.
So that's, I'm trying to see if I can find the specifics on that, but let me see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it later on. But yeah, so he talks about that. So yeah, it's yeah, I can't find it. I was hoping I could see it somewhere. Yeah, whatever. I can't find it. But I remember reading it somewhere. So yeah, Clerks has a wild story on how it got made. It's just it's a crazy movie.
Yeah. I feel like there should be, if there's not already, a documentary about making Clerks.
There is called Shooting Clerks, and it's like one of those like dramatic documentaries. Like it's not like, it's like filmed, it's a biographical comedy drama.
Okay.
So that kind of thing. So I have not seen it. It was filmed by like, I want to say like a dude from like Sweden or some shit like that. But
Weird.
yeah, so I have yet to see it. I've been wanting to see it for a while. It was released a couple years ago, but I don't know how to watch it just yet. So I don't know.
Well,
But yeah, so it, yeah.
I have thoughts that I wanted to share, relating specifically to a thought that I had when I watched Pan's Labyrinth, and I can say what it is, and we can maybe talk about it a little bit, but I feel like it's going to be a long conversation. But I'll say it now rather than, and maybe we'll just talk more about it next week rather than just not talking about it at all this week when I said that I would. I didn't have to try to do this as much as I thought I was going to when watching Clerks, but the idea of trying to separate the me from 2025 now experiencing this to, the 1995 movie.
Mm.
We talked about certain language and things that it was a different time, for better or for worse. It affected my enjoyability of it a little bit, but not a whole lot. When I watched Pan's Labyrinth, there is. I didn't realize how heavy that movie was going to be in general. I knew it was violent. I didn't realize the type of violence and the specific. So it takes place. I don't remember what year, but like Spain is under like fascist rule, basically, and so the main antagonist is this like fascist commander guy, and he is just incredibly horrific, like torturing people, killing people. There's groups of like freedom fighters trying to stop him and stuff, and he captures them and tortures them and brutally murders them in this movie. And I know that the idea was like, yeah, you're supposed to hate him, you're supposed to be shocked by the violence, and I know it really happened, but I kept finding myself attaching too much to, like, oh my god, like this is what's happening here. Like, and I don't mean to say that in an alarmist, panic-inducing way, but like it like we are living in an authoritarian state right now. Like, if you look up the definition of fascism and go down all the criteria, it's happening. And so I found it took away actually a lot of the enjoyment of watching Pan's Labyrinth, because it felt a little bit too real, a little bit too brutal, a little bit too like, oh my god, okay, well, I guess this is either where we are or where we're heading. And so we can maybe talk about this as a whole in depth next week, but like how it pertained to this movie in particular, it did take a little bit away, and that's I was like
Pan's
shook
Labyrinth it did.
from Pan's Labyrinth a lot and Clerks a little bit, but I was like, why? And I was
How I'm confused how it relates to Clerks.
just because how, like, I kept finding myself when I watched both movies, I was like kind of mad at myself for not being able to separate or to like transport my current 2025 self to back then and see it within that lens of like, well, you got to look at it for when it came out. And it's like, yes, but I can also still be upset at the misogyny and the slurs and the
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
so
Oh yeah, no, I think there's no harm in calling out the problematic stuff. I think like and this is kind of what I guess you're talking about. Like, oh, it's hard to separate it for you right now, which is totally valid. I think it's one of those things where it's like, on an older movie, it's not worth getting hung up on it, but at the same time, it's still worth talking about the problem, if that makes sense. Like, you call it out, you talk about it, but it's like it happened like 30 plus years, almost 40 years ago. No, sorry, not almost 40. It's like 33 years, whatever the fuck. Anyway, 30 years ago.
And where I kind of ended up was I was fighting that the whole time. I was like, just like, I mean, you grew up in the 90s, like, just like try to imagine what it was like. And I was like, oh, why can't I separate myself? And then I don't know, I had this thought that was like, why do you have to, or can you even really completely separate your current self? Like, you are always the sum of all of your experiences, and that's always going to color how you view any piece of media or art. So I kind of embraced that a little bit, I think. Like, I started being like, when I watched Pan's Labyrinth, I was like feeling physically sick because they're talking about fascism and murdering people for existing. And fighting a power and systems and all this stuff, and I was like, oh my god, like I cannot enjoy this. And then in this movie, much lower scale, it was just like slurs, casual racism, misogyny, so much so that it was like this is just part of the culture. And I kind of was like, it doesn't change the quality of the movie, but my experience is going to be different watching this.
I don't. I don't think that you should ever watch a movie trying to pretend you're put into that time period. I think it's you allow graces for it depending on what it is. Like I watch the old James Bond movies and I give it grace because it was, I mean, it was problematic back then, probably too, to be honest. But like, it's like 50, even if it was problematic back at the time, right, or whatever it may be, or whatever the problem may be, it's a 50, 30, however many year old movie. Like, it's not a hill worth dying on. It's a hill worth talking about. You know, it's a hill worth bringing up, and it's a, you know, it's worth talking about it, and it's worth be like, oh, that's not good. That they shouldn't have done that, or being, or calling out the stuff with it. But it, to me, it's when it becomes like, how can I put this? If how can I put this? I think it's totally valid if the problematic stuff in whatever piece of media it may be is bad enough for you on a personal level that you can't partake in it. There's nothing wrong with that, because there's certain things, you know, triggers, traumas, that type of stuff, or just in general where it's like, well, yeah, triggers, traumas, or just something that you have such a distaste for that it's hard to find any enjoyment out of it, type of thing. That's totally valid. But I also, I think, how can I put this? I think being mad at a piece of media that's super old and of its time is a waste of your energy. I don't think, but that doesn't change the fact that that how it makes you feel is that doesn't change that the way you feel about it. It doesn't make the way you feel about it invalid. Like if you see something that's old and you can understand, like, okay, this was of its time, but it's still, the stuff in it is so egregious to you that you can't enjoy it, that's valid. I think wasting any extra energy past that is a waste of time, if that makes sense, right? Because it's not like you can change that. It exists.
Yeah. And
I think that's I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm in agreement with, I think what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't feel bad about how you're feeling about certain things, and I think that it can be like, especially with like Pan's Labyrinth, where it hits a little closer to home than what it would have maybe 10 years ago, type of thing. Though if you ever need, I highly recommend her on Instagram, Amanda's Mild Takes. I've talked about her before. Something she's talked about is like one of the things that I really like about her is that she kind of puts things into perspective in a weird sense, and she doesn't sugarcoat it. She's not saying we're not dealing with an authoritarian state, like we are. But one thing that she said that I like, and she kind of calls people like me out on it, is that we've been this way historically, but it's only historically been towards people of color. Now it's affecting white people, and it's or it's just loud enough that people who weren't normally affected by it are noticing it. But like, we've always been this way. It just wasn't something. It was just not directed towards as many people. Now it's directed towards a lot of people, and so, while that doesn't make me feel good per se, because then it's like, oh shit, we've never really been that good of a country.
No.
But at the same time, that I look at it from the opposite side, and it's like, well, we've had these problems, and we're making progress. We have made progress since then. Not saying it's okay, not saying it should have ever been that way, not making any type of like I'm not making any excuses or condoning anything. But when I hear that, and I hear like, oh, we've always been this, or we've been this way before, then I look at it like, oh, if we've been this before and we've progressed, I'm not saying come out of it, because I don't think people of color have ever really come out of it. Unfortunately, there's always been that marginalization and that authoritarianism towards them.
Yeah. I think it's been quieter.
I think seeing that there's been progress is helpful, is at least for me, helpful to know that like, and once again, not I know you and Lisa want to get out of the country for valid reasons. That's not to say, oh, stay. It's going to get better. Like you do what's best for you, for your mental health, for you and yours. Right? Totally get that. But at least on my end, like when I look at it, like I see all the crazy shit that's happening, and then I hear from her, it's like, I mean, still keep fighting. Like she has such a great mentality. She's just like, fuck you, take it from me. Like she has this very kind of like, I'm not going anywhere. My family has been here before. Like she had a thing today where she did a Q&A where she's like, my family has been in this country since before Donald Trump's family has been in here. So if he is pissed off about it, he can go the fuck back to his country.
Yeah.
And like she's very like in your face about it, and not in like, I don't know how. Sometimes I think there's people that get up there and it comes off as preachy, and she doesn't come off as preachy, which I really like. At least for me, she doesn't come off as preachy. So, to bring it back to Pan's Labyrinth and this type of thing, I think that watching movie that makes you feel a certain way isn't necessarily isn't a bad thing. And like I think you give a movie grace for the time it came out with, but you allow your feelings to exist as they are.
Yeah.
I think that's what a long-winded way of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing against it. I'm not sure exactly at where I ended up, but it's somewhere along the lines of that is just it is and always has been just part of experiencing art. You're going to look at it with your lens. And I think, I don't know, I don't want to make it a bigger deal than it needs to be, but, and maybe it's naive of me to even come to this feeling like I came to a conclusion, but like I'm noticing that more and taking that into, and not feeling guilty about taking that into consideration, whether it's for good or bad. Your experience and things that trigger you and things that make you happy are all relative and are like, you are the sum of all of your experiences. I didn't mean to take it into such a philosophical place, but
well, and like there was a moment, and I'm not going to say what, because I think it's too personal of something for you, like a personal aspect of your life that I will not share. But someone part of our conversation earlier, there was a part in the movie that I didn't even consider, and part of Clerks that I didn't even consider.
Yeah.
That once you started talking about it, I was like, oh shit, that didn't affect me because I don't have that life experience. I can see why it's affecting you, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
you know, that's it. You know what I'm talking about. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think, how can I put this? Like, in a weird sense. So, okay, like Last of Us Part 2. This ties in with everything, I promise. I think that it's a good game. I enjoy that game. That game is so heavy and so sad that even though I can look at it and enjoy and see that it's good, I don't think I would want to play it again because it is such I don't want to say traumatic, but emotionally draining experience.
It's part of why I haven't played it yet.
That is a very micro level of kind of what we're talking about now, where if you see a movie like Pan's Labyrinth and you can be like, wow, this is really good, but it's making you feel something, a very heavy emotion, you can still, like, I think it's important to be able to compartmentalize it and acknowledge whether a movie is like good or bad or doing something in a good or bad way, and still, while also still acknowledging, like, I don't think I could experience this again because it's hitting too hard.
Yeah.
Or it's hitting in a way that I don't enjoy.
And that can be separate from the, like, I use this example a lot. Like when I saw the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, I was like, damn, that was a good ass movie. I will never watch it again.
And Jimmy says, I understand this point. There's a scene in a Scrubs episode that, depending on my mood, dictates whether or not I'm watching it.
Okay.
I'd be very curious what scene it is. You know, Jimmy, I'm a huge Scrubs fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think it's like one of those things where I think that, like, I guess the point I was trying to make earlier with like giving a movie grace or giving some old media grace is like sometimes I feel like people will like watch something and get mad about some problematic nature of it. I'm like, my dude, this is like a 30-year-old movie, and or a 40-year-old movie or a piece of media that's super old. Like, if you don't want to spend money towards it because of that, that's totally valid. But to like have a giant hang up on it and like to make it like a huge sticking point and like ma- it just it's weird to me.
Hmm.
And I think that's what I was trying to argue, I guess, against or for or whatever earlier, is because sometimes I think like I think if something problematic comes out now, that's a much more valid thing to be mad about because we should fucking know better. We've learned the lesson already.
Yeah.
But like when people get it's the same thing when people would like, I mean, it was a manufactured controversy, but with like the "Baby It's Cold Outside" song, um
Right.
and even then, like, I'm like, okay, I actually that song isn't about what it sounds like, but it's still, I understand the connotations and how people interpret it. With
Yeah.
that said, that song does play every single Christmas, so that's a little bit different of a story, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's weird to me when people, when oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Jimmy. Sorry to completely derail there for a second. That is that episode. My Lunch is the name of that episode. If you want to cry, holy fuck,
Oh
that
man.
episode hits.
Okay.
Um, but no, with like this, I love, like, I look when I was watching Clerks and everything. Sorry, we went a whole bunch of different places. I think we're both in agreement on this. I think I was more or less trying to elaborate, I guess. Like it's hard to watch things that now hit in an emotionally different way. Um, very, very, very much so. And I would also recommend, Andrew, if you want, I don't know if it's going to help with like anxiety or levity, and I would recommend checking out Amanda Smile Takes on Instagram.
Hmm.
Like, she's a fun kind of like level of fuck you to the current administration.
Okay.
um, like I said, like she's talked about it before, where someone will ask, like, she does Q&As like once a month, like on the Instagram questions, and one person's like, how do you find the will to keep fighting? She's like, well, part of it is definitely my personality. Like, you can't, not everyone's going to have that same personality, so you have to find what works for you.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just very stubborn, and I don't think a fight is over until I say it's over. And I'm like, I like this, like, kind of
Yeah.
fuck you attitude. And one of the things she tries to do is, like, if someone asks her for her opinion, she'll give it and she'll say about like her personal feelings on it. But when it comes to current political stuff, she tries to make it a point to not tell you how to feel about a situation,
Hmm.
because one of the things she's hated is that, especially like, it depends on what it is. Honestly, all sides do this, but in different ways. Um, a lot of, on the left leaning side, it's doom and gloom, like the country's going to shit, and she's like, this is a problem, not sugarcoating it, absolutely not. Feel your feelings, you're allowed to feel your feelings, but you always have to pick yourself up and keep on going afterwards, right? And getting a steady stream of doomerism doesn't help that. And she talks about, if someone is trying to tell you how to feel about a situation, they are trying to manipulate you.
Hmm.
And I think, like, I don't think people do this on purpose, mind you, like, because it's not necessarily even like influencers and shit like that. You, like, it could, you go into Blue Sky and you see a bunch of, like, I have a bunch of left-leaning friends on there, and they will post, one of my good friends, I actually won't say their name just because I don't want to get them mad at me or anything like that, but it's a lot of like passive aggressive like stuff, being mad about the current situation, which is a valid feeling. But if that's everything you're doing, you're just propagating a doomerism, a negative mentality. Um,
Yeah.
and you
Sometimes you
kind of
need
like, in a weird sense,
that release, though.
you need to be a, you do, but when everything is that, you like that's doing the job of what propaganda is meant to do. You are, it's making you too afraid or too angry or too sad to have the energy to do what needs to be done.
Hmm.
So I think her point is more just like, don't let other people tell you how to feel. Take in the information and figure out how you feel from that. And I'm very much Jesus Christ. hold on, I got this. Oh, cool. I can ban the person. Sorry, there's a couple restricted messages that just came in for like uh, a likely ban evader. Did I? I guess I banned both of them. Okay,
Yeah, I've been getting those too.
cool.
They pop up in the back end, but luckily they don't show up in the actual chat as much anymore.
But anyway, sorry. The reason I was saying with her is like it's not. She doesn't like sugarcoat it. She talks about like there's authoritarianism right now happening, but then she's also like right now you can go into your social media app and still criticize the president, criticize the government. Like we are at a big crossroads right now. Not sugarcoating it, but also don't let it completely take over to the other end. Like she basically is an advocate for like be aware, not necessary, and be aware and concerned. But I'm putting words in her mouth. I guess I just like her content. I guess, and I find it brings levity without necessarily sugarcoating things. I speak around in circles way too fucking much. I'm sorry. I keep repeating the same fucking thing like over and over again. To bring it back to Clerks,
Yeah.
I'm happy you. Oh, sorry. If you had any thoughts, feel free. Otherwise, I'll go back into Clerks real quick. Before we wrap up.
I talk in circles plenty, so it's okay. This is also one of our longer episodes. I don't know if I have anything further that I haven't already talked about. I did like it. I liked it a good bit. I'm
pleasantly surprised.
Me too.
I was texting you last night the reason I texted you about like, oh, I'm not sure if Andrew's gonna like this. It was literally because watching Dante paint Veronica's nails, and then as he's saying the most misogynistic things, I was like, I don't remember this. And it's funny though. So Kevin Smith, this was before he met his wife. His wife, her name is Jen Schwabach. She is a raging man hater, as he calls her. Like he jokes around like the only reason she likes him is because his dick is so small it might as well be a clit. Is what he.
Oh my god! Damn. There's a lot to unpack there, or maybe not that much.
He was dealing with a lot like severe self-image issues. He actually I won't go into because that's a whole nother topic. That's very thing. But like he what is it? Sorry, he sorry, I just saw something. I lost my train of thought there. So he went in like 2023 or maybe 2022. He went through. It was 2023. He experienced a mental health crisis where he had to go. He had to reassess everything, and he realized he's very codependent. And I won't go into because there is some like serious like trigger warning type of trauma.
Yeah.
He did a video I think on like posted through Vanity Fair or something like that.
I remember
talking about it. So you saw the video?
Yeah, where he talks about abuse that he's gone through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize it. Now, I still like Kevin Smith. I'm really curious to see like what your thoughts are on his as we progress through these, however fast we end up doing it, or whichever rate. But one thing that I like as I continue to listen to his stuff and all this other thing, I do think he's a little bit of like he likes the spotlight. He likes to make his life into content. I'm not going to say he's a show hog because I actually think he is one of the most generous with his time. Like I will never forget. I met him in person at an event in 2018 that he held. It was called Vulgarthon or something like that, and he showed a lot of like indie movies that he produced in the 90s as well. It was really interesting to see some of the ones I hadn't seen before. But anyway, I'll never forget this. It was it was a full day event of movies, like watching movies that he either made or produced or all this other stuff. And he did like Q&As at the end of each one, or like people from the movies that you just watched did Q&As at the end of it. It was really fun. It was for his 48th birthday, I believe. Um, and I remember watching, and we made it halfway through, and there was a fan of his that was talking to his, and Kevin, I could tell, was hungry and tired, and he wanted a break. He had been on for the last like 6, 7, 8 hours, because it started at like 6, or it started at like 9 a.m. or something like that. It was on, and so he was prepping everything beforehand, and it was like 1 o'clock. We breaked for lunch before we were going to come back. Excuse me, and watch the rest of it. Watch the rest of the movies. And so I was just kind of chilling out in the hallway outside the theater, and he talked to this dude until the dude was done talking. He did not try to leave. He just stood there and listened. And it was one of those things where I could tell, like through the way his eyes looked, that he was kind of like disinterested, but not in like a shitty way. He's just like, he's being polite at this point. But he was still engaging. But to me, the fact that he didn't make any attempt to move away, like if you are done with the conversation, if you are done, like you're right, you just want to go be anywhere else because you're tired, you're hungry, totally valid feeling, right? I totally get that. But he didn't. He's just stayed, and he let the guy talk about why he likes Kevin so much. And I know that's, he hears it all the time, but like, I don't know, to me that showed the type of person he is, where it's like this fan just wanted nothing more than to talk with him, and Kevin, I could see it in his eyes, just was ready to go. But he listened. He was nodding. I think maybe he was active listening. Sometimes I think Kevin doesn't always make eye contact, that I see some of the live podcasts, so it might not be that. But it was the fact that he just took the time and he stayed with this person, even though I could tell he was ready to get some food in him. And he was just ready to like take a break. And I will never forget that, because there was no cameras on him. People were wandering around. He was just walking down the theater, the hallway of the theater, and he was just hanging out with a fan that he didn't need to. And it was one of those fans who was over talking, like the hyper excited, were oversharing, that kind of stuff. And he was just gracious with him. He was calm. He was patient, and he let him say his piece. And I'll never forget that, because he didn't do it for anyone. He did it for the fan. And as much as there are some things Kevin has done, he got into NFTs, and I thought I hated that. I thought that was stupid. And sometimes I don't like some of the it's not that I shouldn't say I don't dislike him as a person, but sometimes I just get like, I'm like, okay, but there's the spotlight thing sometimes gets under my skin. But to each their own. Everyone has their own thing. But deep down, he's just a good person, it seems like. And I think
like it. Yeah.
You can kind of see it even in Clerks here, where it's like he's fighting with all of these negative sides of himself in Clerks, and he doesn't win in Clerks. It's interesting. So I don't know. I'm going to stop talking about it, because otherwise, as you know, I will continue to talk about my love of Kevin Smith and his movies and all this other stuff. So
well, that's why we're here.
I'm really happy you enjoyed it, though, man. Like I know I was worried that you weren't going to like it, and I would have felt bad putting you through the movie. But I'm happy you enjoyed it. I wouldn't have been upset at you if you didn't like it. I'm just, I was worried that I would have put you through a bad experience. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
No. I mean, and even ones like Blazing Saddles, which I had much more opinionated opinions on. I had much stronger feelings towards Blazing Saddles. I still don't regret watching it. I still am glad that I watched it. There was parts of it that did genuinely make me laugh out loud. And even if I had only hated it, it's an important movie. Well, I was going to say Clerks, maybe less so than Blazing Saddles, but still it's one of those, like,
it's actually, I don't know if it's more or less, but I can tell you for sure. Sorry, I just sent you Amanda Smile Takes videos on Instagram. So
oh, nice.
If you're curious later on. Anyway, Clerks, I think, is one of those ones where it's like a sleeper important movie in the sense that not everyone always talks about it, but it was an inspiration to a ton of people
Yeah.
because it is this rags to riches. And Kevin talks about how like it's a 1 in a million shot this worked. You can't don't do what I did.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to work. Um, so it's you just have to like he acknowledges very much that he is very lucky that this worked the way it did.
Yeah, he seems to still have a pretty grounded. He still feels approachable. He still feel. I mean, the story of him talking to this fan at this convention for longer than he needed to. Like, yeah, there's an aspect of I'm sure he's grateful in realizing like if not for the fans, then I wouldn't be here in the first place.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give you an entitlement to this person's time, and that he still freely gave. I love hearing about moments like that. The spotlight hogging thing, definitely. I've seen some things. I used to watch this.
It rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah,
and I can understand that.
It was funny actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Polisa was just asking about when we watched it. I was like, oh, that guy right there, like that one, Silent Bob. That's Kevin Smith, like the guy who wrote and directed the movie. And she was like, why is he? Or she said, I was like, he never talks. And he was like, which I actually was wrong about, apparently. And she was like, wait, in real life or in the movie? And I was like, oh, no, in the movie. He never shuts the hell up in real life. And I say that lovingly, and also as somebody who's never seen his movies. But I've seen a lot of
jokes about it all the time.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of interviews with him. I used to watch this awesome program on the internet that I wish would come back called the Movie Trivia Schmodown, which is like if you took movie trivia and made it like UFC level theatrics or like WWE level theatrics.
Yes.
He was on
He's
there.
funny on that too, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely. He also has one of the most unique and characteristic fingerprints. He is so. This movie is so Kevin Smith, and I know I haven't seen most or any of his movies except for this one, but
he has a distinct writing style that people love or hate.
Yeah, and even not just the writing, but the feeling of this movie, like the emotions and the tone of everything was just like his DNA, his little New Jerseyan hands were all over this movie. And I'm sure that only gets stronger as he develops more of like his own style and language. But I'm glad I watched it. I feel like I finally checked one off of my list of movies that are like on the list of movies that I am most embarrassed about to never have seen. Like Pan's Labyrinth, like Clerks, a lot of the movies that we were talking about last week. So overall, pretty net positive experience. Like I have the experience of watching the movie, and I have the experience of watching the movie. Like it's like as different things. Like now I feel like I have a better understanding of for however you view him, like he does have such a distinct voice, and he's one of the most distinct voices in filmmaking, and I feel like I have a better understanding of what that voice is. So I am excited to watch more. I'm probably maybe not super soon, but I do want to watch the second one, or maybe just
one of the reasons I think he's had so much longevity too is that the reason why it's called an Askew the Askew universe is called View Askew is his movie the View Askew universe, I should say. So View Askew is the name of his production company, and then the View Askew universe is like it because he's a comic book fan. Obviously, we know that now. But you can think about in the '90s, being a comic book fan wasn't cool. Being into superheroes and Marvel and DC wasn't cool. So when you watch, so actually this will be a fun thing to point out. So the funeral that they go to in Clerks, for the girl who died in the swimming pool, died right in mid bat stroke.
Right.
Had an embolism popped in her brain. Died right in mid bat stroke.
And she was on your unlucky 12.
Mallrats the second movie takes place the day before this one.
Oh.
And you never see Dante, you never see Randall. You see, actually, it's a running joke where like Dante has a bunch of cousins that look like him, all played by Brian O'Halloran, who played Dante. In Mallrats, there's a character named Gil Hicks, and it's played by the same dude who plays Dante.
Yeah.
In like another movie, you'll see a newscaster who's, I don't remember his first name, but it'll be like something Hicks, and it's another one of the Hicks family line, but it's never really explicitly called out or said. You just kind of notice it. It's a really funny like nod. The main character of Mallrats, T.S., he is inadvertently the reason for that girl dying.
Oh my God, no.
It's I don't know if you want me to tell you what the thing is, but
sure, that doesn't feel spoilery
like,
enough.
Okay. Oh, you do? So you do want to know? It's the opening joke of the movie too.
Yeah. I was gonna say it doesn't feel spoilery enough that I feel the need to avoid it before going into this movie.
It's definitely a little, it's semi-fat phobic sort of.
Okay.
Where basically it's his girlfriend comes up to him and says, "Did you talk to Julie Dwyer yesterday?" He goes, "Yeah, she's going to be on a TV show." I'll spare you all the reasons as to why they explain it all in the movie. And so her T.S., the main character of Mallrats, his girlfriend's name is Brandy. She goes, "Well, did you talk to her about? Did you mention it all about like her like the camera, how you look on camera?" He goes, "Yeah, like the way that cameras movies like film is shot. Sometimes it makes you look a little bit heavier than you actually are." And he mentioned that to her, and he goes, "Why did she like go and like go to the gym and work out a whole bunch?" She's like, "Not exactly." And then she talks about how like in high school she had a big weight problem. She had the fattest ass. That was the line. And so when he said that to her, she just went to the pool in the YMCA and started doing laps. And right in the middle of, I think she said it was like her like 80th lap or something like that, she had an embolism popped in her brain and she dropped dead
God.
in mid backstroke. And so because he makes this off comment, which he's not trying to be fat phobic, but he's just basically telling a girl like, "Hey, watch out, the camera adds 20 pounds," type of thing. Once again, 90s and early 2000s, extremely awful towards body image for everyone, especially women.
Yeah.
But like that's like the funeral that they go to in Clerks is that girl's funeral that they reference. So like they have this weird cross pollination.
Yeah.
As it goes around,
it's like Stephen King. They're all connected.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like everything kind of takes place in this like weird area of New Jersey, like Chasing Amy, excuse me. The third movie from Kevin Smith is filmed in Red Bank, New Jersey. It takes place in Red Bank, New Jersey, and Jay and Silent Bob are in that as well. Like Jay and Silent Bob appear in the first the first 5 movies, because then the fifth Kevin Smith movie, the fourth one is Dogma, fifth one is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and that's more of like a goofy, that's just a straight up comedy. There's no lessons learned really. It's just Jay and Bob traveling to Hollywood from New Jersey to stop a movie being made about them.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Lots of cameos. It's like one of those like early aughts like comedy movies with tons of like cameos in it. It's
God,
like
yeah.
Cameos everywhere, stuff like that. So one of the reasons he gained such a cult following is because he turned his movies not like explicitly, but into like a small comic book universe, right? How like if you're reading a Daredevil comic, you might see Spider-Man comic, you might see Daredevil and vice versa because they both are from New York.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Same idea, but on a much smaller scale in New Jersey. And that's kind of like the joke of it a little bit. And then also he was one of the first like filmmakers to embrace the internet. Like he started a website in like 1995 or 96, and it had forums, and he would literally talk to his fans.
That's wild.
Cultivating like a online fan base before it was. So he was an early pioneer with that type of, I shouldn't say pioneer, but an early adopter of that. Maybe pioneer in terms of like the parasocial relationship, because he really did speak to his fans a lot.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, and then he was also an early adopter to podcasts, which now it's weird that he kind of got out of them right when they started getting absolutely gigantic.
Yeah.
Like he still does podcasts, but like he was prolific in podcasts from like 2008 to like 2015.
That's
He was
wild.
like 7 years. He just did. There was at one point in time he had 5 podcasts as he was on coming out every single week,
Holy crap.
Monday through Friday. Yeah,
That's too many.
he. Oh yeah, I mean he probably had paid people to edit it and stuff like that, but like it was everywhere. It was crazy. So yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway, I once again rambling and raving about my love of Kevin Smith, but
Well,
yeah,
that's
you're gonna find lots of little references as it goes along. As it goes along, like different characters you'll see they reference in Clerks, you'll see in Mallrats and vice versa.
Yeah.
Or they'll reference it back and forth, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and never apologize for being passionate. That's the whole point of my whole channel. You know this, the experience point. It's about sharing experiences, and I am happy to finally this Kevin Smith experience share is maybe one of the first ones that I thought of doing when I first was like coming up with all this stuff, because you've talked about Kevin Smith like since we were in college together, basically, like almost as long as I can remember.
I didn't get into him until after college.
Oh, really?
Like man, this is I'll give a condensed version of it now. If you would like a further elaborated version of where this
Okay.
like fandom comes from, I can go into it the next time we do Mallrats, because that was kind of like the first Kevin Smith movie I really ever got interested in. When I started the job where I'm working at now, I used to listen to a lot of music there. I got tired of listening to the music. I also had a shitty MP3 player back when people still had MP3 players, because I didn't have a smartphone yet. And I had it was a little tiny like brick, a Panasonic like brick that held 2 gigs of memory. And I would just load up like 5 or 6 albums and listen to a lot, and I got tired of that. So I eventually did get my first smartphone. It was a Windows like operating system smartphone.
I remember those.
Windows 8 was on it, I want to say. And they had a podcast section of it, and I remember Jimmy
Zune. I was thinking of the Zune too.
But so I remember looking at podcasts, and one of the ones recommended was Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. And I'm like, oh, I know Jay and Silent Bob. And that, I had never heard something with so much swearing or sex jokes. Like, it puts Clerks to shame. With the amount of stuff, like the shit they would talk about on that podcast. But it was my gateway into it. Then he started talking about Hollywood Babylon, which is still running. Actually, you can still listen to that podcast. They don't do it very often. It's usually like once every few months. Fell in love with that, and then finally tried out his podcast called Edumacation, which was that podcast has made me laugh harder than most other podcasts I've ever listened to.
Wow.
If I can find clips of it, I will share it with you, because it is just some of the funniest shit I've listened to. And then eventually I listened to Smodcast, which was the flagship show of his whole network. And Smod stands for SM is Mosier, and then SM is Smith, MO is Mosier. So it's Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier, Smod.
Okay.
And that's how Smodcast came to be. And it ran for a long time. Him and Scott Mosier just doing a podcast. They stopped mainly because Scott moved off and did a whole bunch of other stuff. He kind of did his own thing. And then periodically he would do interviews and whatnot. But then he, did Fat Man on Batman. He did so many different podcasts. And he, at one point in time, it was like Hollywood Babylon on Monday, Smodcast on Tuesday, Jay and Silent Bob Get Old on Wednesday, Fat Man on Batman on Thursday, and then there was like one other podcast that I can't remember what it was, like Film School Fridays or something like that. And he just had podcasts like crazy.
Who would do
Um,
a bunch of content throughout the week that is themed certain things like Main Quest
you got a little bit
Mondays,
of Smith in you. You got
Talk
a little bit of
Tuesdays? Yeah,
Uh,
I've taken the inspiration before without even realizing it. Yeah, Fat Man
so,
on Batman,
I mean,
I've seen
that's
probably
how
the
it
most
happened.
clips of because that's when I started to become more aware of who he was without having seen his movies. The Fat Man on Batman and
That's still running
Schmodown.
too. It's him and Mark Bernardin's like kind of comic book podcast that
Yeah.
they still do.
Well, I can leave you with a fun fact as we wrap up. Are we at a good place to wrap up? 3 hours in.
Yeah, I'm yes.
This might be our longest one, aside from the New Year's one that we did. I think.
Yeah.
So you talk about comic book movies and shared universes and stuff. Did you know that the Ninja Turtles, canonically, the ooze, the same chemicals that mutate them are the ones that made
Yes,
Daredevil
it's
blind?
from Daredevil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's also they have the foot in
Yep.
TMNT in the hand.
The hand.
In, Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's a spoof of Daredevil.
Yep.
I was aware of that.
And Splinter is because Daredevil's sensei was named Stick. And so
Yeah.
Splinter. I love that. I love
Yep.
that little. And I don't even think that was official. I think it was just because. Why can't I remember the Turtles creator's name? Kevin Eastman? Is that it?
Yes. Kevin Eastman and fuck, I forget who the other one was. Yeah.
I think they were just like, they just loved Daredevil and were like, well, let's just make this canon. Laird. That, yeah. I forget his first name. Good call, Jimmy. Well, yeah, I think that'll probably do it for us today on this Talk Tuesday. Great partial experience share. You've done like pseudo experience shares through several episodes of this show, so it's nice to finally actually do a deep dive on his first movie. I do intend to watch further. I am intrigued enough to keep going. But
I'm excited for you to see Mallrats. I think you'll laugh more at that one. But like I said, the characters are arguably more problematic and
okay.
definitely learn significantly less.
Awesome. So
just go into that. Just know that like the characters aren't necessarily good people. Like
Yeah.
they're not good.
Schooner is a sailboat. Yeah, I think I vaguely remember them trying to do the 3D. What would you even call those?
Schooner is a sailboat. Stupid head. You'll have to wait to watch the movie to find out that reference. It's one of my favorite jokes.
I know. I think that's like the only scene that I remember from that movie. I might as well have never watched it. You're gonna watch that tonight?
Not the whole thing. I might watch a bit of it.
Oh, I was gonna say it's like 11:30.
Yeah.
And speaking of, we should probably call it.
Probably.
As always, thanks for sharing your time and your experiences, sir. Oop, my phone just died. And thanks for everyone who came and chatted and hung out. Jimmy Doom and Chris from
thanks, Jimmy.
Physics Dev Quest. I think Masked Llama was in here for a little while, aka Masked Keaton.
I actually did see in chat Luigi's apartment. He didn't say anything, but he lurked for a little bit. So shout out to Luigi.
All right, Luigi's entire apartment somehow managing to fit inside this little chat box. And thanks for Chris for subscribing. I was like, what the hell is that thing called? September is almost over. If you want to support this channel for less than it usually costs, you can do so through the month of September, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to think of what oh my god. So tomorrow, Wildcard Wednesday, I will probably be playing Ninja Gaiden Ragebound again because holy shit, it's awesome. It is awesome.
I still need to play my Shinobi game.
Yeah, I still need to. I'm waiting for mine to come in.
Yeah. No, I got mine right here. It's right there.
I know. I ordered it from the same place too. Yeah, it's a really cool love letter to the old ones. and has good references to the 3D ones, and has some really cool mechanics too that maybe I can talk about next week. Thank you, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Go to therapy. I got therapy tomorrow. I'm so stoked. And watch, I guess, watch Clerks.
Watch Clerks.
Hell yeah. Any words of wisdom or anything you want to plug before we say goodnight?
About the biggest pear you ever seen, Dingleberry.
Dingleberry. All right, and with that, good night.
Good night.